Hey, here we are again on Sunday evening on the 3rd of December 2017. We're waiting for Angel to join. He's having a bit of a problem getting on the panel at the moment. Always got to be a bit of technical there. So far, we have Judith from Israel. We have Astro from Denmark, although he's English. And we have Patricia UK, and we have Artist from Germany. Now, Artist is going to do some more presentation on these electrical strikings, but obviously I put a video out about pyramids today, and because there's one up the road from me. And Astral was just mentioning that he knows where he thinks there's a couple more.
Yeah, that's correct. There's a town in north of Manchester called Bury, and there are 3 pyramids there. 3-sided pyramids. What are they called? They're called, yeah, they're just pyramids, aren't they? Karen, can you show the picture?
Oh, I'm not sure if I can because it's on my. I remember it's Sun and Moon to this one. Artist, do you reckon you can do it?
How is it? What is it called? Those pyramids?
It's called Pyramid Park.
Pyramid Park, Bury.
Yeah.
Pyramid Park.
Artist is the quickest one to do this now.
Bury? Like raspberry?
B-U-R-Y, yeah. Like
B-U-R-Y.
B-U and then?
R-Y.
B-U. Again, Kevin.
You want to say something else, don't you? B-U-R-Y.
R-Y. Bury. Oh, okay.
Just present Artist in a second. He'll just show you the picture of what it is.
Is that near those buildings? It's in the city. 3.
Yeah. Can you share it to everybody quickly?
Yeah. I just want to make sure that I have the right picture. Okay. Let's see.
They're not the biggest pyramids, but they look like pyramids, don't they? Sort of. Whatever they are.
This one.
He says they're hard. Yeah.
Yeah. I've just put...
They're not a soft thing. You said you slid down them.
I've just put a couple more in the back chat. You can see them there. They're good aerial pictures too.
Oh, in the back chat?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see in the back chat.
And plus the one that I found. Have a look. Can you see them?
No. Yeah, just now. One. That's the one I have. Oh yeah, this is.
They've not touched them, have they?
I see two of the same now, Astro. That's the one I'm showing now. So.
I think he's frozen.
Yeah, because I see 2 of the same. Actually, 2 of the same photos.
He's probably touched something on his screen and it's lobbed him off. He'll be back.
Yeah, because this pictures he sent me were 2 of the same pictures. What I can do is show you. Let me see if I can search for bigger pictures. That's what I always do, because then you have on those very small pictures. I only have small pictures of those. That's strange. Most of the time you have bigger pictures.
They don't look quite as they look slightly different. I don't know. Maybe they are just equal. They look a little bit not quite equal. Do they look more like sort of arrowheads?
Yeah, a bit. Yeah, a bit like that. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Let me see if we can find the another one.
He's back now, I think.
Yeah, because what he said in the back chat, I've still just 2 of the same pictures till now. So,
not sure what's happened to Astral there. Maybe, Astral calling Denmark. Flat Earth calling Denmark. Well,
I
he'll
found
be back.
another picture. It's a very old picture with a very old train in front of it.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one he sent me.
Yeah, I showed that one before and this one. But here you can see it more in comparison to the size of a train. So that's handy to get
And also,
an
artist, do you
size
see on the
comparison.
other side of the bridge, like where the bridge is on the other side of the river, that
Mhm.
looks like one of those little long barrows, which is by Silbury Hill.
What is a
There's a
long barrow?
Well, just like that structure there in the ground, that long
Oh,
thing in
yeah.
the ground. Do you see it?
Mhm. Basically, it looks like a railway tunnel under the train. Yeah, because you can see the road.
Interesting, isn't it?
Here you can see there's a road going under it. Here.
Now we can't get away from pyramids. They're everywhere.
Oh yeah, they have everywhere. I've also found one I'm going to show you in a bit. 2 pyramids in India that I've never seen before. So that's interesting. Yeah, so sometimes you can find all kinds of pyramids. Did you already post another picture in the back chat, Astro, or not? Because I have 2 of the same pictures at the moment.
You're muted, Astral.
Yeah. And I have 2 of the same pictures in the back chat.
Right, sorry, I lost power then. Right when I just uploaded or sent the picture up, I didn't hear anything of anything, whatever anyone said. So
No, the pictures you sent in the back chat are 2 of the same pictures, and actually 2 of the pictures that I already shown.
oh, that's Sod's Law, isn't it? What about the black and white one? Did you get that?
Yeah, with the train in front of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've shown that one.
I don't have any others.
Not really great ones. No, that black and white one with the train in front of it is a great one. There, that one with the office building to the side. And otherwise, you don't have a lot of pictures of.
No.
Oh.
But
Very interesting.
it shouldn't be very difficult to find because Google Maps and you just follow the train line. It's like meters from the town centre. I'm talking maybe about a mile, in that sense. It's right there. It's right there.
And near the train station, because I see something of an
Yeah. If you
deck
get the
for probably a train station or a station of some sort. Because you can
okay.
see.
I'll put it like this, right? Now I've not been there for many years. I mean, I've not been to England for like 12 years, I don't think. And I'm going back from when I was a kid, like 7-year-old or something. Anyway, it is, if I'm looking from where if I've got it at my back, I would be looking towards Manchester. So I would be looking south. I'd be looking south. So from the train station, use the train station, head south, a mile south. That's where you're looking. That's on Google Maps. I'll have a look myself, but I'm just a bone idol.
Well, thanks for showing us those.
Yeah, thanks, man.
I also found another one in Marlborough as well, another little pyramid in Marlborough as well. So there's just pyramids everywhere, it seems, once you start looking.
Oh, everywhere. Yeah.
I'm sure we were only seeing the tip of the iceberg, if you know what I mean. I'm pretty sure that they're just like the Bosnian ones that were discovered not that many years ago as well. I'm pretty sure that there are, hundreds.
Now also videos of those one in, I believe, China. I want to fly with a drone over them. And they're not one. They're probably around 10 in China. Maybe even more.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, but I thought it was great that a while back somebody did a drone flight over those pyramids in China. So you can see them very clear. So that was interesting. Because the most pictures you had on the internet were from a far distance. And now actually somebody flown over them. So you can see much more detail and actually can clearly see that it was a construction. So not some hills, as some people say, oh, they're just some hills. There's a pile of dirt. Don't look at it. Look the other way. Here we have Stonehenge. That is fake. Look at that. We rebuilt it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you for that, Astral.
Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, sorry, artist, what's your take on this idea, right? That the pyramids at a certain time when the sun is at, probably its meridian, obviously. When the sun is at its meridian, the angle that it hits the top of these pyramids on a certain date, how is it in correlation with other pyramids around the world? You know, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it. What happens on this date with that pyramid and that one?
As far as I know, that the angles on the pyramid in Egypt are very close to the angles in the pyramids in China.
Yeah.
And so even the pattern layout is sometimes fits almost exactly, just a bit off, but the basically the rough pattern of the pyramid setup in Egypt is almost very close to those ones in China. A bigger one, a smaller one, and a smaller one. Even the distances are not the same, but just in a different size shape. So if you blow them up if you would blow them up in that proportion, it fits again. So a lot of and the sides and angles also seem to be in the same angles.
Yeah,
They're
but
very close.
Also something that's intrigued me as well, when the sun is at its meridian, or usually the way it hits and forms a shadow, and the shadow also has some kind of play in what's going on, what it is it needs to do, if you understand what I mean.
Also, they build it without mortar between the stones. So if the sun shines on one side of the pyramid, it expands. But because there's any cement between those stones, it can expand because they are loose stones. So they build it in such a fashion, and the corners in such a fashion, that it can expand when the sun hits just one side. So they already had the knowledge that the sun would hit that structure and it would expand. They already built it in a fashion that it would allow it to expand on one side or another side. So they were very knowledgeable in building that structure.
Yeah.
Because they have taken it into account that it would expand on the side and later on another side. So, yeah, that's very smart. Because most of the really ancient structures, the oldest, are all built without any mortar cement between them.
Yeah,
so they can expand. Also in Peru and Bolivia, all those structures, and some in Greece also can expand if they heat up. So they're very smart to build it in that fashion because it's also earthquake proof. Because if the earth shakes, they can shake a bit the stones and nothing happens. Only when a very strong force hits those sites, that it could crumble. But normal earthquakes, earthquakes, it could absorb them. Yeah. So they were very smart in building the structures in that kind of fashion. They will last for thousands of years.
Yeah.
They sure are, aren't they? They're out doing everything.
And they also
I came across this other guy on this other little video I'm uploading right now, which I'll put out later, about pyramids again, because once you start looking, you can't help it. But he was saying that those structures were made to walk on, and now you can't walk on them. They were made to walk on. And he said, I wonder how the people who made them feel right now. And then I found that basically, it's not the Egyptians that made the pyramids. They're before the Egyptians.
Oh yeah,
the Egyptians known how to make them, by the sun gods, is it, or something? Anyway, I've got it all on my video. But yeah, it's all very interesting.
But there are more structures in Egypt that aren't built by the Egyptians. That they were built just like the pyramids before that time. Very clear.
Basically, there's no hieroglyphs in the pyramids. There are outside. There's millions of them telling you how they lived, what they did every day, but nothing, not one hieroglyph to show how they made the pyramids.
Sorry, Karen, to interrupt. I've actually been inside the pyramids.
Oh.
Yeah, I was in there in 1989 or 1990, thereabouts. I've got pictures with the Sphinx with scaffolding all around its face. And one of the areas inside the pyramid, it's I've told you about this before, I know I have. There was a tunnel, and me being me, I thought, sack this, I'm going down there. So I went down this tunnel. It was off limits for sure. But I went down I'm trying to find a picture now.
Yeah, carry on.
So I went down this tunnel, and at the end of the tunnel was like a room, a good-sized room. And on the back of the wall was, it was an Italian, I think it was an Italian strongman or something, anyway. So many of the ancient Egyptian antiquities, a lot of them for the British. He stole them for them. I can't find a picture. Oh man. Yeah, it was just interesting that, you know, I went down this little tunnel. I wanted to find it so that you can see like how they've actually chopped it out, you know. And it was fairly long as well. It wasn't like 3 meters or something. It was quite a long tunnel. No, Artis, continue talking and I'll keep looking. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's okay. Sometimes you want to search for things that, and sometimes you find them, and sometimes it's, yeah, for some reason you can't find them, and then all of a sudden, oh, there they are. Yeah. That's why I always make a separate folder for every hangout. So when I...
Oh, you're well organised, don't you? I know what you mean.
I have to be, I think I have, well, maybe close to 1 million pictures on my computer. So I have to sort them out, otherwise I can find nothing back again.
That's
guys,
1 or 2 pictures, Artis.
Hey, FPV's here. Hey, FPV.
Yeah, FPV's joined us. Well done. Hi, FPV.
Just when you were on, I thought I'd just jump in and show you this map here, Arties. Can you present me, Karen? I can show Arties how his lights relate to this grid. Yeah, take a look at that, Arties, and you can see now how these sites actually relate to this double helix on the grid. And you know what these circles are? They're these angels' halos I've been showing you.
Yeah,
you can see where they're located on the key sites to get this pattern.
Well, indeed, in that one on New Zealand is right on the money. That is on that stone castle in New Zealand, and that one in South America is also very clear now near that strike zone, that very big strike zone that goes through Peru and Bolivia. That one in Mexico is also near those temples, and also near that very big strike zone over there, and all those sinkholes in that area, a lot of sinkholes in that area, so that fits also very good. That one in America is, that in England is of course that fits. That one in the Russia also is very clear near to that strike zone. Well, it's surprising that one in Lower India is a little bit lower.
Yeah, there is more than what you see there. I know there's more than this.
Most of them are right on the money. Also,
yeah, it has got some merit, this map. But yeah, some things may change slightly or appear different on different maps.
Well, let's say If I look very quickly, roughly, yeah, that one also fits. That 90% is right on the money, FPV. So that's great.
I found this on my journey today when I was looking about pyramids, and I've included how this other person's put what you've got there in a little video, FPV, which I know you'll like to see, especially with what they call it.
Yeah,
I'm too tired now to remember it all word for word. It's on the video, so I'd rather me only half explain it. I'll wait for the video, which is uploading right now.
So,
I'll send you a link.
What I'll do with this, guys, is I'll overlay this. I'll plot this on series map, and then give an update sometime to see what it shows on series. Yeah, it's going to be the same as that, really. But there is more to add than what you see here. Mm-hmm. This seems to be the main ones, but I would expect some of them to switch, switch on and off, and things will get rerouted slightly, which is what's creating the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
But just thought I'd jump in and show you that, just to see how your work's kind of overlaying into what I'm doing, RTs.
Well, most of them are exactly right. Only that one in India, what I think,
I'll see one.
Maybe there is a site on that location, but that strike zone, it was very clear, is a bit lower. But
it could have been on its way there. Or there's been some adjustments.
It's very close. It's all very.
Yeah, I mean this map here is probably not accurate. It's not series map. It's just an old one I found, and found it interesting.
But let's say 90% is right on the point, and maybe two are just a little bit off, but just a bit. The rest is
yeah. It might plot nicer on series map. This isn't series map. It's something that looks a bit similar. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they are right on the money. That's indeed that one in South America is exactly that strike zone I always show. You also showed it in a couple of hangouts. The big strike zone that goes from Peru to Bolivia. That is actually that spot in South America.
FPV's a little bit worried about Venezuela, aren't you?
Yeah, politically they're in a lot of trouble over there at the moment. Socialism, communism, socialism, whatever you want to call it, it's kind of destroying the place. But looking at
they've got an angel. It's an angel, isn't it? And a halo.
Yeah, Angel Falls there, which is the highest waterfall in the world, is located in Venezuela, and that's probably where its name originates from. I would suspect that, with it being high terrain, I would expect it to be an angel below that's created that terrain.
Oh yeah, that's indeed the Lake Titicaca. Yeah. And also in Lake Titicaca, there in South America, there's a sunken city. There are not a lot of... So that also fits.
Go on.
Yeah, it fits.
Oh, go on, Aim.
I was just going to mention the female great dragon and the male great dragon in the bottom left corner there. Mm-hmm. I think we know now these are volcanoes with an angel below them. For some reason they seem to create volcanoes as well as mountains. I don't know why. It could be the type of elements they mix in. I'm not sure. But they are responsible for creating landmass, elevated terrain, and such.
Well, this little video that I'm uploading, which of course, it's uploading forever because we're online. It has all about that on it to FPV, so I'll link it to you.
FPV, that one on the Giza plateau in Egypt. Can you show it again? That map. Just something struck me that I thought.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, sorry, but yeah. The fifth Saccard Road created Pyramid Sphinx and the Mount of the Olives. If you have that point, and you have above that you have the Gate 30 in Moscow. If you actually have that one in England, and you would go down the same distance below, so you have from Gate 13 to to the fifth chakra in the swings. And you have that one in the fourth chakra in England, and you go the same way down, so down and a little bit to the west. You have that area in Egypt, that big strike zone. It's actually you will lower that whole line that goes from the fourth chakra to the 13th gate to the seventh chakra, and you lower that whole line, that wave-free line, from the 13th gate to the fifth chakra. And you lower all those points. You also get to a lot of sides.
Yeah, I would say we could, on if you plot them on series map, I bet it would plot a straight line, a line you could follow where it went. It would create that pattern there.
Mm-hmm. That's interesting that actually on the same wavelength, if you put that wave just a little bit lower, you also hit a lot of points. Because therefore, if you have that one, the seventh chakra, and you lower that, the Mac accuracy is not 100%, and you already said that. You already also will go to that, close to that area in Lower India. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it will. Don't forget, this is just like a snapshot of a point in time, say, of a certain time of year. So it was, say, it was snapped during winter or summer. I would expect this pattern to change slightly over the course of a year. Some will switch on, some will switch off, and this pattern will vary slightly.
Well, it's interesting that line from the second chakra from South America to England to Russia. If you lower that whole line to the south, to the point of the fifth chakra, you will get again a lot of points where strike zones are.
And that's probably where it moves south. The line will move south, thereby creating winter in the north and summer in the south.
Yeah,
that's what I think it's doing. It's moving up and down. All it's doing is moving that helix up and down over the course of a year. Four times it seems to switch on the equinoxes.
Yeah, and that struck me that if you actually, indeed, with the summer and the winter, if that line wobbles a bit to the south and to the north, you actually will get close to other strike zones. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Great work, FPV. Great work.
Cheers, Artie. Also yours,
Four
mate.
times FPV.
That's yours. That's making me look.
Switches.
Well, there's 4 equinoxes, so I'm presuming there's 4 bits of switching going on. Like I showed you in that mimic map, you've seen the double helix. That was the winter equinox. So that told me something switched, and some technology will switch on and some will switch off. Yeah. And this sine wave, this helix, will move further south.
Yeah.
Because there it looks like, say that was the sun's path. That would suggest somewhere in the north. So, and if it forces this line down, then you get winter in the north and summer in the south. So I think this line here is probably moving up and down over the course of a year.
Yeah.
During the equinoxes.
It fits. Because if you have that line in go a little bit down in the same fashion, just you don't go straight south, just southwest a bit. If you point southwest a bit, even that point in the lower UK will go to close to that site in Termus, I believe, in Spain. So that also fits. So
this is how they do time and date, isn't it? Almost that picture there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I bet if I do an animation and just move those during the equinoxes over the course of a year, you would see that would be the sun's path. So, it'd create the seasons.
Mm-hmm.
I only looked at the winter equinox and noticed that's when I noticed that double helix. But I've never noticed it before. I have looked at other equinoxes and I couldn't see a double helix. So it maybe does it once a year and someone else takes over the cycle in the meantime. It seems like an automated process going on.
Yeah, great map, man.
All these guys down there shoveling coal in and working hard.
Yeah. Well, what the great thing is that actually I recognize all the points instantly. Oh, that's over there. Oh, that's close to that ancient site. Oh, that's close to that ancient site. And that is close to that Earth strike. It all fits. So that's very
Yeah, and like I say, Arties, when that sine wave moves further south, it's going to go across other sites that you've come across. You know, they're going to start switching on and playing their part.
Yeah, indeed.
I would expect that.
Already imagined it in my mind that if it goes south, it goes over a lot of places that also have strike zones and electrical discharges. Fits all of them.
Yeah, it's overwhelming, isn't it?
Oh,
how
yeah.
it connects,
Sure.
how everything is connected.
Yeah. Yeah, I instantly recognized all the points. Oh, that's over there. Oh, yeah, no, that one. Oh, no, that one. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah, little surprise for you there. Eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
The sites you're mentioning, I'll plot them on the map sometime. Yeah, if you find strikes or anything, let me know, and I'll start plotting them onto the map. You know, so I can pan the camera around it and follow the trail. I'll do that sometime with the artists.
Helena said she did, didn't she, at FPV? So hopefully she'll send you some pictures.
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually downloaded a very big map, just like this, and I will put the points with the GPS code on it. I'm working on it still, and then I will send it to you, so you have a very clear picture where they are.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, I'll put them on here for you. You know, I'll give you the credit for it. I'll say this is what Arties' work is showing and how it relates to this grid, because it's all connected. It's all switching on and off. You can see that now.
Yeah, it's very close.
We live on a big grid.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see the four. Oh, I'm guessing four times a year the switching. It could be less or more. I don't know. But I can see, you can tell when it's switching. You watch the winds change direction. That tells me something switched.
Yep.
I noticed that on one of Stan's 360 cameras, I've seen the wind switching direction. You know, over the course of one of his camera pans. I thought, wow, that just tells me then that something else has switched on and some off, and the wind's changed direction. Because it is this technology that's creating the winds.
It doesn't surprise me because a lot of ancient signs are also that I'm going to show in the presentation later on are actually magnetic. Brian Forster went to those sites in Pumapunku in Bolivia, and he had a compass, put a compass over them, and he moves them around. You can see the compass needle going in all directions. Actually, the north, the true north, all other directions. Not the true north. So you can also see that a lot of sites, he also did it in Egypt, and a lot of sites are magnetic. So therefore, they attract also that grid. And that also makes sense that it sometimes indeed shifts to another wavelength because of the attraction of the ancient sites that are still there.
FPV, sorry to interrupt. You mentioned the other day on one of your videos that you've been marking down these nodes, these points where, points of interest, nodes, fallen angels, and you said you were missing 12. Was that correct? Or am
missing 12 at a minimum. There's 12 missing at a minimum. You know, I've got 48 on the outer of the 8x8 grid and 32 on the internal. But we know there's ones buried under the land masses here and there that also play a part, but they're not connected to that main grid. The lakes, I used Devil's Tower as an example. That's probably one below Devil's Tower, and that's where you've got the rock formation, kind of looking stretched upwards with a slight twist to it. So yeah, there is a lot more to locate.
That's easy.
That animation you've seen there is basically what I've been doing with it. Like, hold on, just rewind it a sec.
And was
like there, look, plotting. It's plotting. Say again.
Sorry, had you made your grid bigger from 12 to 15 by 15 or something?
Not on these animations, not yet, no. But yeah, it's going to get expanded, layer larger.
Right, sorry. I'll shut my mouth.
I'm just adding sites like these to show, how they're playing a part in this map. And with Artie's help, I can start adding more of these ancient sites onto this grid because, like Easter Island part, we can see signal on the mimic map coming from the going south.
Easter Island also fits it because last time I also did Easter Island with the also has a big strike zone. So that's
You see the line it's on there, that grid. Hold on, I'll put I'll leave it playing and you'll get the top down view.
Yeah, I've seen.
This is what it looked like coming down from above. There's also smaller halos to put in between these larger ones. And that's the ones I'm trying to locate now. There's 48 external, 38 internal, plus all the ones that's hidden under landmass.
Mm-hmm.
I say hidden, you can actually see when the barium goes across them because they light up in the sky. So everywhere you see a dot on that grid, that's where an angel's located. Like I say, there's 32 come with the 8x8 grid and 48 with the external 12x12 grid. So there's a total of 80 there alone on the map. You can see Venezuela there, see it?
Mm-hmm.
That's probably Angel Falls right under that dot there.
Mm-hmm. And there's one in Colombia.
You can see these lines. These lines all playing a part. You've got Hawaii right on the location there.
Mm-hmm.
Right in the intersection. They do the same. These temples, like the ones in Mexico, Temple of the Sun and Moon. It's probably where two parts of this grid intersect.
Yeah. Also, FPV, what I also maybe is handy to look into because that is not very hard to find. Is all those spherical balls.
Yeah.
Those spherical balls. I did it in my presentation already last time. Because probably all the sites where those spherical balls are very, you see there were very big strike zones near those spherical balls every time on every location. So that's also a point that you have to research a bit because
that's your department there.
I know. I already did it in a presentation.
I'll happily work along with you, don't worry. If you find places of interest, I'll put them on that map and we'll see where on the grid. I think they're all playing a part on this grid. And to me, it's key to discover how they harness this free energy.
Yeah. Also, the Felsen Meer in Germany. It's basically the Sea of Stones. It's also a big area that the strike was happening, and also ancient structures. So the Felsen Meer in Germany is also would probably be a location.
Yeah,
anyway, sorry to hijack your channel, but I just want to pop in and offer some things that may show you, shed a bit of light on your research there, artists, now it relates to this grid. Because it's like you can see there, it's all playing a part. It's all It tells me the people of old, the ancients, they understood how this world worked and knew how to harness its powers.
Yeah. Well, I found it interesting that you had Lake Titicaca because in Lake Titicaca in Peru is a sunken city, and there's not known a lot about that sunken city in Lake Titicaca. There are only a handful of pictures of that sunken city because they don't do research. Only one guy, a diver, made some pictures of it, and that's it. So that's interesting. It's an interesting site, Lake Titicaca, because there's a sunken city over there.
Yeah, it would make sense, wouldn't it? There's things below all these locations, and it's not always switched on. So, you can't write them off as, oh, it's an old site, no interest, because it's there for a reason.
Or sometimes
you look at sacred geometry artists. When you look at sacred geometry, it's telling you an important message.
Yeah.
These are all important messages, and it's all in relation to the workings of our world.
Yeah. And there's also a lot of beneath the sea. I've seen a lot of videos of just near the Nile Delta in Egypt. There's also a sunken city in front of just a little bit west of the Nile Delta. There's a big sunken city couple of years ago, they excavated a lot of things out of the water, statues, and they did a lot of pictures of the city before the coast of Egypt. So there's a lot of, and also just in front of the coast of Turkey, there's also a big sunken city. Also a lot of pictures. So that's interesting. A lot of sometimes if you think, oh, it hits the water. I don't see nothing. Probably there's something in the water city.
Yeah, well, my opinion now is these nodal points on these halos, they help. They're playing a part in raising landmass.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can play around with this technology, there's nothing to stop you elevating landmass.
Mm-hmm.
If you made it work a bit harder, it would create the mass quicker. Mm-hmm. And of course, if it went in reverse, it could lower it. You can have the reverse effect and actually sink land if this technology was reversed.
By strikes on the Earth and discharges, sometimes land gets lowered, sometimes it gets pushed up. So it happens very clearly.
Someone in chat there, Ronell, it's been reported that seismic activity is occurring somewhere under New England due to rising soft rock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would so that's probably true. It's an angel. You look at earthquake data, you'll find it's about 10 kilometers down, so 6 miles down, say, there's probably technology playing its part. And when it switches on, like I said, it switches on and off certain times of the year to create the seasons. And when it switches on, I think, the machine might be a bit grumpy at first, and then it settles down.
Yeah.
That's just creating earthquakes when it comes online, and then it'll stabilize itself and do what it's intended to do.
Mm-hmm.
All incredible stuff.
Very
the
clever.
Matrix of where we live.
Yep.
Anyway, I'll let you get back to your discussion.
Oh, are you staying on FPV or are you leaving us?
I'm uploading, so I need to be doing less talking, really. I'm trying to get this video that I made last night uploaded.
Are you staying on the panel, I meant, or are you going?
I'll jump into chat. Or well, I don't want to be, when I'm talking, I'm using my bandwidth. And
maybe you should stay there and listen to what artists has got to say about the strikes, though.
Well, yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, I'll be watching here or in the chat. Go ahead, artists, carry on there.
Thanks, man, for the presentation.
You can hang out then, because obviously, or I'll screen share you, artists.
Yeah.
Can you see it? I've screen shared now.
Oh yeah, can everybody see it?
Yeah, all good here.
Okay. Well, this is a brick strike zone in India. Again, India, just like I mentioned. And over here in this area, you see this is the strike zone. It's not that visible because there's a lot of development in that area. Agriculture and cities, of course. So therefore, a lot of the strikes is a little bit faded away. But you can still see the form of the strike zone. The mountains are a ripple effect here out to the sea. We can see in this area over here, they have a temple. And this is the Masrur Temple in Madhya Pradesh in India. And this is from a site that somebody actually wrote something that made a little bit more sense than Wikipedia. And he states the amazing Esmore temple complex ornamentally carved out of a single rock. So this was a single rock and they carved it out. So it's a great effort they did. In cutting this out, you can see already that it is destroyed. Some pieces have fallen off. According to the locals, the locals often have the better story than actually the people who will excavate this site and research it, because they are sometimes have a different agenda. So it's often better to ask the locals. According to the locals, these temples were built by the Hirma during the times, Maharashtra times, more than 500 years ago. And that's the estimate, of course. 50 temples from a single group with larger temples. So this is basically this temple. You can see on the top what is interesting, that all the points of the top are darker. This whole area, then you can say, well, maybe it's because of rain. No, because these lower parts aren't have darker tops. Only the highest one are very darkened. You can see the stone is also melted almost here. Because it could be weathering, but you can see in more pictures I will show that you can clearly see that it is almost looks to appear to be melted, this temple. Here you can see it from the side. Again, those darkened towers here, they are very darkened. So that's interesting. You can see this almost becomes like a piece of clay that is heated. It melts like a candle. Here you can see the carvings melt away. You can ripple effect. It's melted like a candle. So that's interesting. Because it was cut out of the background. And it was also, it appears not to be finished. Because the temple inside is not carved out. Only a small pathway to the front door is carved out, and the rest isn't carved out. Or it's also melted because the strike on this area. You look here, you can see the actually size of this temple. Two people standing on top of it. You can see those darkened patches in here, so it goes all the way down. That whole, you can see it appears to be melted. Some say it is not finished, but it doesn't fit because if you would carve further, it doesn't fit anymore. There are pieces already missing and weathered away. Here, this piece in front is also here. You can see holes in it, air holes. You can see it's melted away here, and you can very strong force. They put here some bricks in it to repair it. So they did some repairs on the temple. It appears to be melted and struck by a strong electrical discharge because the tops are darkened. Here you can see from a side view that it is all slided away. This whole piece is melted. You can't make head or tails. And you can see those windows are, they're happy. Or they didn't finish it. Some people say they didn't finish it, and therefore it's not carved out. Or it was melted in such a way that actually the inside was filled up with a mesh from the top. You can see side view. You can see that it was basically sliced off like a bread almost, and everything fell down. You can see some repairs. This is the mountain. You can see in the other piece of the mountain they carved it out. In another angle, you can see actually everything sliced and fell down. It's all on a diagonal line here. It's all the same diagonal line. Here, even here, those cracks are in the same direction every time. So that's interesting. So the strike probably went this way on that diagonal line. And you look a little bit further, you can see some details here. You can see the rubble. You can see that it appears to be melted down. It appears to me that it looks very melted. Here, also here, this almost looks liquid between these heads here. It's almost a liquid stream. And you can see repairs. You see it's all cracked. All cracks in the structure all around. All kinds of cracks. And now this is just weathering with just some close-ups. The statues in there. You can see this is in India. Here you can see all the things, rubble that fell down. And that was sliced off on an angle and fell down. Here, you can see it. Wham! Everything fell down and crushed down. So very strong force hit this structure. Maybe it wasn't even finished. Maybe it melted and therefore it looks a bit unfinished. There's two ways. And this is actually, you can also see this is repaired later on with bricks. This is the only place that you can go inside. The door was probably put in there later. You can see also the sides of the door because this iron doorway was pushed in to strengthen the structure. But if you take that door away, it's a very big door. So easily to fit this woman maybe 5 foot high. So 5 foot, 10 foot. Near 13 feet. Actually, a person could fit in there. So that's interesting. Again, it's built in a size for very large. That also very large people can go in there, like many ancient structures. You get some weathering, but also you can see that those Indian figures a bit, just to give you some. And also in the distance, you can see it almost looks like it is boiled here in the distance. Here you can brownish, and it also looks to appear to be almost boiled. This stone, very fluid. That it was fluid at one stage, and it dried up with a very rough surface, a surface that appeared to be became liquid at one point. Here are some pieces that are fell down and they put it on the side just to show you some pieces from the temple. And you can see the hill they carved it out of. But it was a very big task to carve it out. And something went wrong. You can see it very clearly. Everything is destroyed. So there was, and also it's in that strike zone I showed you before very clearly. And here you can see another piece of it is on restoration. You can see also it appears to be melted again. Here's some more restoration. You can see that slicing off on the angle. And this is basically this temple. So this is the Masrur temple in Michal Parades in India, if you want to research it. This is another site. It's called the Midas Monument is in this location. And this is in Turkey. It's in the Eskişehir province in Turkey. You can see this is also a strike zone. You can see again on the strike zone itself, there you have the most trees. Here you have a line, and here a line. And here you have a bit of that electrical discharge. Like those Lindenberg figures I talked before, also around it. Because there are a lot of cities here and a lot of agriculture, farms, so therefore you can't see that strike zone not that clear as in some other areas. Basically here, on the top of here, this area, and here down under, a little bit even more down, but around this strike zone, you have this thing that I already showed before. This is the Midas Monument. It's also called the Gate of the Gods. You can clearly see, like we talked with Inchel, that it could be a living room. And actually the inside, you can see still a part of the inside, but the outside is all melted and struck by a strong force. You can see it's very dark patches on it, and it looks that it was melted. You can see it's very dark and a big crack in it. Again, a big crack in it. You can see some other pictures. They actually put 2 iron rods in it to keep the stones attached to each other. This is another side. You can see the size, how big this is. How big of a building it was actually, probably the inside. And this is just a piece that is still, that is survived the strike. You can see that this thing beside it, it looks like a melted building, like a melted Kindle.
Artist, do you reckon that that's inside, or do you reckon that's been covered with something?
It was covered, probably, and it is blown away. Because you have a big space in front of it and just a sidewall. On the left, you have the sidewall. The rest is gone. It was struck. You can also see a little bit that the strike went from the distance like this. So from here to the guy standing here, because it appears to have this kind of shape that is here. This is folded around the corner. Here on top, it's also folded around the corner. So it came from this hill in the distance to this area, whammo, and it struck very hard and basically demolished all the building in an instant. Only this was still standing because probably this was the strongest part of the structure. You can clearly see very clearly that this whole side is very melted. Only this is still appears to be in good shape. Even the foundations look, and again they have all those air holes in them. Like you heat something, you get air holes. And this is basically a drawing. And here have another one. This is not the only one. No. In this whole area, there's another one. Here's the whole floor is missing. So it went like probably from right to left or from left to right. Wham! And this is the only thing that remains, and the rest is blown away. You can see here's still some detail over here and here of something that was there. Here, this goes out. This is basically a wall. You can see the foundations of the wall still there. So and here's the wall attached to this. So the whole foundations, and here a big crack. Here's one. And there are more cracks. You can't see them on this view, but here it cracked. Huh? A very strong force went through this place, that's for sure. Even near the river. What was here? Maybe it was in the shipping dock at some point. Because it's strange. You have only near in the distance, you have also that appears to, yeah, maybe these were statues, this was a building. This could be also a shipping dock because it's on a lake. It also goes further to the sea. It's strange because a rock like this, yeah, near water, you normally don't see that. So maybe there was a structure here, a shipping dock, and it blasted away. Here again, all these rocks in this area appear to be melted. Very melted surfaces. It almost looks like that there was a building here. And it melted away. Here again, you have still those holes that survived, but it also looks like a building that was melted by a very strong force. Even this almost appears to be a church, maybe here. It has the shape of a church. But here, you see actually drippings. Here, it drips down. Here, like a dripping candle. Very clear. I mean, I can zoom in a bit. Yeah. Here, it drips down. Here also drips all the way down, like a candle. So maybe this was once a structure that looked like a church, but it's melted. Here you can see here's a window, very slightly. Here you can see the outside of a window, the spanning of a window. Here, another one. And the rest is gone. You can see.
Artist in the chat room, Asper.
Yeah.
She's asking, was it underwater? Lots of rounded edges.
Maybe it was such a big strike. I think it is heated. It appears to be heated. And maybe then after that it was flooded. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that, because that was basically what happened in another strike zone in Peru and Bolivia. Most of the structures is still under the ground. Because it was first struck by a strong electrical discharge, and then it was overflooded by water. So it wouldn't surprise me that actually in this side the same thing happened. Again, here you can see staircase. And normally the staircase is inside your house. And now the staircase is outside. It is. Okay, when it also here, you can see a piece here. This piece is fallen off. It probably was on top of here, but here's another piece in the ground. Here's another piece broken off. Here's another piece broken off. Here. Here, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 probably pieces that were broken off by a strong force. This is basically, just with a modern day building, the strongest part of the building is where the staircase is. And that's more often you see that's why you often see those staircases still standing. Here, just like here, there's the staircase. The rest of the building is gone. This may be only the basement because it's like a bomb shelter, very strong, or the staircase. The rest of the building, it's missing. You see rubble lying around. And you can slightly make up the staircase still. So that's, interesting. Here, another staircase. The rest is gone. You can see rubble lying here and around. Yeah, it doesn't show in this picture, but the rubble is lying in the surrounding area. Here you can see here a big chunk over here, a big chunk over here. It was probably on top. Up, bam, down, up, bam, down. All the pieces blasted off. And then you end up with a structure that is it's like almost like a war happened. If you have looking certain war countries there when war happened, you also end up with this sometimes those structures that are very weathered and blasted. It almost looks like a nuclear bomb went off or something. Here, this is another angle. You can see this. Some people live near that area. Well, I hope it doesn't look very. Here, this you can see the size. This is very big, but you can see the surrounding areas. I always want to show the surrounding area. You can be here. This wall is still standing all the way. And here you can also see here's straight corner. But it appears to be the structure. And then this whole side, the front side is missing. Only the back side is still there. Here another one. Lots of weathering, a hole in it. Why is there a hole in it? I don't know. It's cracked also. Look, a very big crack here. Those holes again. Very low. Like a lot of ancient sites have those holes in them. Sometimes say, yeah, roof support. Yeah, sure. Very low roof support. Because the people go to about this height. So roof support is way too low. And a strange hole. Like you have another strange holes also in Pumapunku. A lot of weathering. So it's very old. That's for sure. Here another one. Stairs. A lot of weathering on the stairs. Here you have yeah. The rest is gone. You see just a melted structure. It just those stairs are not very sharp anymore. Everything, only this part is a little bit sharp. The rest is weathered and melted down. Because yeah, where's the rest of the structure? Normally it would go here. Melted down, it's gone. By a very strong force. Here is a piece lying. Here you have the thing with the holes in. Another one. And here's a piece missing. And you can see a big stamp in it. Like somebody it was liquid at one point. There's something fell on top of it. Yeah, a big press mark in it. So that's strange. Here a lot of rubble. Again, all fell down here. Big piece lying here, big piece, here, small piece. And this is just what is left of it. Here another one. Very strange. Here, it's all like melted candles. Candles that are burnt off. The same type of shape a bit. Here another one. Here's only this is standing. And the rest is weathered away. It's gone. This is only what was left. Because often also with a more modern day house, this could be a chimney, just like Angel said last time. That it was a chimney. Yeah, it makes sense, a lot of sense. And often the strongest part of the house is your chimney and your staircase. And you see in all those pictures, what is left is the chimney and the staircase. And things look like chimneys or staircases, so that also makes sense. Another stair, the rest is gone. Maybe there was a statue over here, the rubble lying around here, all over the place. This is just like in Pumapunku, those staircases with the top blasted off. It's gone. And this is the surrounding area. This is on top. And this are the stones in the surrounding area. Again, this appeared to be pushed out of the ground, like I mentioned last time. Pushed out of the ground. Here you can actually see it. Here you have a crack, and this is pushed up. Makes sense to me. Here you can see the pieces of rubble. Here, this whole chunk. Here, there's lying chunks and bits and pieces. It's like a puzzle. Every part. Maybe this was just on top of this. Maybe this should be on top of this, and this on top of that. So it's demolished. You can see it here. This piece is lying around. Demolished. Here, another side. Demolished. The whole top is gone. This is the top lying. All those pieces are lying here. It struck. Wham. Gone. It was probably this high. And the rest is blown off. And it's lying around. All the pieces, very clear to me. It was struck by a strong force. Here, another one. Wham. All the pieces are lying around. It was struck by a very strong force. So this is all the sites in the Phrygian sites in Turkey. If you type in PHRYGEAN sites in Turkey, you will find all these sites. And just like in Peru and Bolivia, that this is basically the line. Here is the line, and on the west of it is Peru, and this is Bolivia. So the border goes around here. You can see in the big strike zone, an Iron Ridge mountain. Here you can see a ripple effect. All the mountains are pushed aside here. Pushed aside. When near the strike zone goes down here. And this area, there is Pumapunku in Bolivia. You zoom in on that. So this over here, just over here. You have here a green patch. Near green patch, just in the middle. You have this site of Pumapunku in Bolivia. They were struck very, very, very hard by a very strong force. I will show you in a moment. Here, all the pieces are lying around, rubble. They are still excavating this site. And they only dug around 2 or 3 feet deep. Therefore, other stones and other aspects of this site are still in the ground. They also did some ground penetration radar in the south, and a lot of pieces and even holes and spaces are still underground, not excavated, because it's only allowed to dig 2 or 3 feet. And if you dig any further, it's not allowed for some reason. Maybe they are afraid of what they actually will find in there. This is Brian Forrester. And I asked him if I can use his material, and he's all very kind. I messaged my Brian Forrester and said, Brian, can I use your videos and presentations on Sun and Moon Group to tell my story? Oh, yeah, for sure. Go ahead. So it's very nice always. So always a big shout out to Brian Forrester. His name is over here. Just check his out. He talks a lot about ancient sites. And there's a lot of knowledge about them. He's a very, very, very nice guy. And he takes measurements on the side of Pumapunku. And here you have a compass. And he puts a compass on this stone. And he moves it around to see what happens. Here. Needle goes the whole other direction. Here. Facing this direction. He just slides it to the right. And the whole compass shows another direction. And he also does this with another structure. Here you can see those drilling holes. So very interesting, because the distance between those holes is every time exactly the same, within a thousandth of an inch. And he also puts this on this stone in Pumapunku. He puts this compass to see what happens. So he puts it on there and slides it. Well, just a couple of inches, and the whole compass goes in another direction. Then a little bit further, another direction. Just on this, it's not that big of an size, this stone, and just this short here. Now it's facing that direction. Just slides it a little bit, whole other direction. Slides it a little bit further, whole other direction. So all those stones have magnetic properties in them. Here, this is one of those H blocks. You probably know those H blocks in Peru. And he puts it on one of the H blocks over here. And he puts it just near that corner. And it points in this direction. And he just slides it a little bit to himself. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's in the next picture. These are the H blocks, just to give you an impression how those H blocks look like. Here's another picture of those H blocks in Pumapunku. And I just put 2 pictures between them. But if you can go here, it's pointing this direction. And he slides it a little bit towards himself. 90 degrees, perfectly 90 degrees. See? Here, it points that direction. He slides it to himself. Up. 90 degrees, exactly 90 degrees. So they have specific magnetic properties. Here, and then he slides it off the stone and it turns back in another direction. This is actually the north So these stones affect compass very strongly. And this is just in that site of that was struck, the big strike zone I showed before, that map. And this is those stones are all magnetic, and also probably attract that strike force because it was so magnetic that it attracted the discharge because of those magnetic properties. So something went wrong in that side that attracted this electric discharge because it was magnetic, and then it attracts those discharges. The stones are still magnetic, only the whole place, like I showed before, is in rubble. It's stones lying all around, and there are still stones beneath. They still have
something, Arties.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to say, if it's one of these sites with the angel below it, then I would expect to see anomalies on a compass. So it might not be the rock; it could be what's below. But yeah, I'm not saying there's no iron in the rock. I would expect there to be iron in the rock.
Well, if he slides it another way, now he slides it from the front to the back, and when he slides it from here, from side to side, the compass goes in another direction. So every corner has another direction. If he slides it a little bit more to the right, the needle goes also in another direction, and he slides a little bit to the left, goes in completely another direction. Maybe indeed it also has to do with something under it, but they move those stones around. So they are not actually on the location that they were found. They put them in a row. Like this. They weren't found like this. So they were found and they all put them in a row side by side. So the magnetic properties have to come from the stones themselves. Because they are all moved around. Not one stone is on its original place anymore. So that has to be the stones.
Yeah, I would agree with
that. Just thanks for that thing, because sometimes you don't think about things that you point out and you think, wow, wait a second, he's right.
Yeah, well, I was thinking, it got me thinking about the Bermuda Triangle, Arties. That's why I mentioned it. You know, people report compasses going crazy in certain parts of the world. I'm putting it down to possibly technology. But anyway, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, but it's great to point it out. Indeed, there's a lot of sites. Also in Egypt, if you go there with your compass and put it on certain obelisks and certain ancient sites in Egypt, your whole compass goes in all kind of directions. If you slide it on ancient structures, if you have an ancient structure near your site, take your compass to it and just slide it over it, and the chances of it has magnetic properties are very high. This is a strike stone and Lindenberg figures in Paradesh, Andraha, Paradesh in India. You can see Wemo. It's on an arc. What? Circle type struck. And if you go to this area over here, where these big patches, you can see all the mountains are flattened. So they're pushed out of the ground. Flat surface, flat. Most of them are flat. Not all of them, but most of them are flat. You can see that here, flattened on an angle a bit, but they are flat on top. Here are also flattened on top. They are pushed out of the ground by a very strong strike zone. This one, you can see it. Whammo. There he goes. This is the pushed out of the ground. And what is interesting, a guy actually took pictures on the road and was traveling a road in this area. And then he took this shot. I thought, what the fuck? There are pyramids. Here, he took another shot. Very pointy hills. I never seen those one. There's only 2 pictures on that whole road. This one he took. And then he took this one. You can see also they are closer together here. And he is a little bit further on the road. You can see 2 pyramid-shaped structures. Never seen them before, but it's just interesting. So if anybody like to do some research in that strike zone area, you never know. This is in the Andhra Pradesh in India. So that you know where that area is. Maybe I So that's interesting. And also you can see the place name. So if you look for this place name in India, you can find it area. And basically, you travel this road. You can see those pictures he took, and further down the road, he also took pictures. And again, you can see on that strike zone that the mountains were pushed up. They did do some excavation. I think this is fluoride. So they extract fluoride from this area, like you have in your toothpaste. Yeah, black fluoride mine in this area. So it attracts all kinds of certain stones, or metals or iron. Also near that area, there's these structures I never seen before. There's nothing known about these towers. There are a couple around, I think 4. These are still sticking out. Maybe they're all old USTM towers. No. I don't know, but it's interesting that you have in the middle of the jungle, where almost nobody goes, there's no living soul in that area. You have these big stone structures. You can see they are overgrown a lot, so they were there for a very long time. And also near that same area is this the Virabhara temple. Is in Antrapur district, Nantapur district in India. You have here, you can see again stones lying around here, a lot of stones in this area. Here, all the stones, see all the stones. They were basically, well, you can see in the next picture, they were thrown around. Because here you have the temple, and there's the stone. It struck the temple. Whammo! A big boulder. Like they are lying around here, all kinds of boulders that fell down very clearly. And one fell on the temple. Bam! And they carved something out of it. That is, yeah, that ain't the Indian god. I don't know his name. Ganesha or something. It's called. That god of India, that the elephant-like type of god. So they carved it out of the rock to worship that stone, basically, put a temple on it and make a worship place of it. That's what they often do with those in those areas. And this is just another strike zone. And this is in Mexico. And bam, you can see here. A very big crater, and here, if you go closer, you can see they are excavating. Again, they are excavating fluoride from this mountain. Here, there's a piece of fluoride they excavated from that area. This is basic fluoride. If you put it on ultraviolet light, it lights up like this. And it's also made toothpaste from fluoride. But this was basically the presentation. If there are any questions, we'll be glad to ask them. Let's get that Colgate logo away, because I don't want to make... Otherwise, we get a strike from the Colgate company. You never know. If there are any questions or any questions...
Can get my microphone back on. Okay. A very brilliant presentation, as always, Artis.
Oh, thank you, Karen. Thank you very much.
Yeah, fantastic work on it.
I've even...
What today? Those buildings are so weird. They just...
Yeah. I found one that I showed before. And then I in that area in Turkey. Then I thought, well, there's only one building. Let's see if there are more. Well, there were lots of more. I was surprised at how many structures there were just in the same type of fashion. They appeared to be struck by a very strong force that melted the structure like a candle. Yeah.
Yeah, that was interesting. Now that they're kind of melting, you know. I mean, very interesting. You're giving us more fuel to the fire. We're trying to unravel what we've already unraveled. You know.
Yeah. And what I always try to do is try to get the pictures So basically, everybody has a picture of it, how it looks. Because I can explain it and everybody says, well, yeah, sure. And if you actually show a picture of evidence, just like with those compass, you put over the structure that you can see it's magnetic, then you actually have proof. That's why I like Brian Forrester, his channel. He goes to those places with the compass and all kinds of measurement tools and shows, it's magnetic. Look, there are more things in the ground. Yeah, like that.
You know, it's weird. I take this with me everywhere. I have it in my pocket. I go to work with it, like, you know, and why? I mean, who knows? Who knows?
Well, if you have a site near you that is probably ancient, bring the compass over there and we'll just walk with your compass and see what happens.
You know, I've seen some videos this weekend and listened to a lot of people talking this weekend, and it's given me some amazing ideas, you know, and just around where I am here, you know, it's just given me some thought. So I'm going to go out and I'm going to do some digging and some investigating. So it's going to be an exciting time for me now. You know,
I'm going to visit the Netherlands. There you have a lot of dolmen in that area in the Netherlands. It's about 40 kilometers from my home. Actually, you have those dolmen, big dolmens, of all those big stones they put on top of each other, just stones on top of each other, very big structures. And if I have some time, I will go to that area and make a video, also with the compass, and slide it over those ancient dolmen structure and see what happens. So that's the thing on my to-do list.
All right, well, it's very similar to what I'm planning on doing, because over here we have these big, like, they're domes as well, in grass, a big hill, mounds, and there's shitloads, excuse my French, there's loads of them everywhere, you know, and I pass them every day. 10 a penny, as we say.
Yeah. You need a big shovel.
I think
still a big shovel. Target 6 miles down. Over there.
I think I'm going to mark them down and plot them and then find out what they reveal, because I'm sure they will reveal a lot, you know. And you ask people, well, what are they? Well, they're sort of burial grounds or stuff. And you know,
that's what they often say. That's all what the researchers often say. They are probably told that if they don't know what it is, just say it's a burial ground.
Easiest, isn't it?
It's easiest.
Someone's buried there.
Can I just say that Angel joined us?
Oh yeah, Angel.
Angel, hi.
Hey, thanks. I finally got my machine working. I'll be right with you guys.
Okay.
Okay. Can I ask something? That I've got something that I want FPV to see. It links into his work. But if you understand, most people, they just always information, which is what FPVs talk, and then they're talking about it being on a ball. So it's a bit annoying. Like, he's going to show you a blooming globe in it. But can I just show you this little video? Because this is to do with those sine waves that FPV says. Now I'm just hoping that my computer plays it. So.
Karen, maybe next time when you go to the Salisbury Hill, bring your compass and see what happens.
Yeah, I haven't been for a little while. It's about 30 miles away from me, but I love it.
Well, next time bring a compass if you have one. Yeah. And see what happens if you walk on the side. Yeah, just like that. I've almost the same one.
Yeah, and just hope this works out.
I've almost the same one as strong as that. Yeah. Yeah, almost the same one. Yeah. Next time I'm going to the Netherlands to investigate those stone dolmens. I'm going to make a video and actually see what happens if you slide them over the rocks there.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to do exactly the same.
Oh.
Your whole life has changed now. Everything that you do is completely different.
It's all about compasses.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a go at presenting this. Can everybody see that then?
Yeah.
Right, I'm just hoping, but if you imagine, do excuse the ball, there's a ball, and if I start getting a warning, I'm taking it off because I'm fed up of trying to play things and then something happens and it goes wrong. But if you understand, this is the stuff that FPV is talking about. This just is someone else doing it. You ready?
Welcome to this new series.
Yep.
Let's take a global
Yeah.
overview. First of all, see there are 7 chakras on the Earth's surface. Then there are 4 world centers. There are 4 spinner elementals. And finally, there are 2 dragon lines, which are world-class ley lines, the rainbow serpent and the plumed serpent. Let's take a look at the chakras. The energy of Shasta, the first chakra, is like a Giza, a great uprush of life energy, or prana without shape or structure. Lake Titicaca is one of the 2 greatest ley line crossroads on Earth. The rainbow serpent intersects the plumed serpent at the island of the sun. Energies from Lake Titicaca are sent to Uluru via the world ley line artery, the feminine rainbow serpent. As the rainbow serpent ley crosses England, it sweeps through many famous sacred sites, all of which contribute to the world heart chakra. Avebury Stone Circle and the Tor at Glastonbury are perhaps the 2 most famous of these heart acupuncture points.
That's where Silbury Hill is.
Sphere of 5th chakra energies in the Middle East is also a major component of another vital earth structure, the 4 vortices or spinner wheels, which regulate qualities related to the 4 elements of fire, air, water, and earth. Chakra, like the others, has a geometrical center and an ideal expanded circumference. The difference is that this third eye moves 1/12 of the way around the world to the west at the dawn of each new eon. Eons are determined by a slow revolution of the Earth's axis.
Whoops.
The names given to these eons are taken from the 12 signs of the zodiac. Currently, we are said to be leaving the eon of Pisces and entering the eon of Aquarius. Kailash is the most sacred mountain in the Himalayas and is the center of the world crown chakra. Located in Tibet, it is the focus for the annual Scorpio full moon event in April or May. For the Earth and for all mortals, this moon marks the new year in terms of global evolution.
That's it.
Yeah, interesting.
Away the fact. Yeah, you had to take away the glow, but you see about the helixes and that, and he's calling them the snakes.
Yeah, well, we've got a better version now. We can plot them on series map anyway. And
I'm just saying, he's talking about those waves. I just found them last night.
yeah,
Yeah, I put that out.
That
That fits your work, although unfortunately it's a globe on there.
Yeah, well, that map I showed you, it wasn't my map. It was one I found online, made it look like a blueprint, and used it to demonstrate where it's heading with series map and how the sites are related to it. So yeah, he's right in how it's relationship.
Yeah.
But I don't think he realizes it's flat and there's technology involved.
No, they don't, do they? They realise all this information and then they go and stick it back on a ball, which they wouldn't work on a ball.
But sometimes even on those kind of videos, you get the information that you can use. Because if you put it in a flat Earth map, it works. And yeah, sometimes they still give you information or sites that you didn't know. Oh, I didn't know that site. I want to research it. And then you fit it. Maybe on a map there's like FPV presented. And then you think, oh, that's the missing point. It fits over there. So that's why I was just like you, Karen. And probably everybody else on the panel and in the chat, all kinds of videos, because you can learn sometimes from a video that you don't agree with, maybe 90%, but just a 10% is something that you can use in your research because it fits to your work.
Totally. You got that.
Yeah, that's it. Because most people are applying it to the ball. You know, it doesn't work with the ball.
on this video that I'm uploading now, I really like the way that these people are trying to understand what's happening at Silbury Hill and the vortexes. But what it was is then they start saying that the reason that they're doing all this with the pyramids is that they're doing the balance, the tip and the toe, so that they can keep the earth in its axis. And I thought, that bit out. Because that is just not true. But everything else they said was perfect until they got to that one sentence.
Sorry for interrupting. I was going to say
Well, that's all right. But these people were talking. We're in the 90s, so it's quite a long time ago, and we've moved along rather a lot since the 90s, haven't we? We've all become flat earthers since then, unless you weren't born then. But all of us that were born before that, we might have been looking at that, and we've now moved on rather a lot. But they've got it kind of right, just not quite right, because obviously we're a flat plane. Oh, Artist is back.
Yeah, it dropped out.
Oh, sorry, I was talking. I didn't notice. Sorry, Artist.
No, my sound went away, and then my computer went very slow, and then whoop.
But do you see how interesting it is? Artist is doing his own research. FPV is doing his own work, but they overlap again. And this is the most amazing thing about finding all you lot.
Oh yeah, everything's overlaps. That's what's very interesting. Every work fits into each other like a jigsaw puzzle. Everybody has a piece of the puzzle, and they bring it to the Sun and Moon group, and here we are going to fit the puzzle together. And everybody who comes here, and also in the chat, sometimes you get the information that fits into your model, that you think, oh yeah, that fits again. Oh yeah, that the other piece fits again. It's very exciting. Every time I learn something new.
Well, yeah, I'm always amazed, and that's another reason why FPV's here, showing a bit of his work, because you can see it fits into
oh yeah,
Artist.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Hey, Angel, are you there now? Angel, are you with us?
I was just going to say, yeah, it will help Angel also, because I now think, you know, the pyramids that were used in some way with water to harness elements.
Yeah, I'm here.
Harness elements or energy from that rotating toroidal field. So yeah, Angel's definitely on the right track. You know, it was some kind of a production plant for, you know, possibly elements like gold, silver, and other materials.
Just real quick, I'm getting a brew, some tea, because I talked a lot and my throat is a bit dry. So, see you in a bit.
Angel, it's your turn to talk now. We haven't heard much from you. He's muted. Angel!
Angel.
Yeah, sorry.
Angel!
I'm here.
Angel, we've been doing quite a lot this week. FPV is showing his work again, which is playing.
Yeah, I've been watching the whole thing.
And then we had a big hangout with Bro and Santos last night. And then I've put a video out again about the pyramid up the road, and that this, obviously I talked to you, and this guy's going to come on next Sunday and talk, so that's good. And then of course
there's this pyramid on there as well, remember? Yeah,
Astral came up with the pyramid today, where he used to live in near Bury,
Manchester.
Get the GPS of them so we can put them on the map.
Yes, he's given them to me. I've got them. I don't know if Art
wants to pull them up, but there's also pyramids in Illinois, in the States here, and there's like 8 of them. They're called the American pyramids. And I kind of told you my story about that, where I was like within a couple miles of one of them, and somebody said, hey, you want to go see some dirt mounds? And I said, no. Of course, you know, they didn't describe them as pyramids, just like if somebody asked, if you asked somebody, hey, do you want to go see a big pile of dirt in my backyard? Somebody would say no, unless you say, hello, it's like got a name and it's technically a pyramid and blah, blah, blah. It all depends on how somebody describes them.
Well, there are pyramids everywhere.
I agree. And they really kind of want us to think that they're in Giza. Thank you. Have a nice day. Please move along. Or in Egypt, technically. But or South America, and that's it. Because they don't really want to try to justify why they are practically everywhere on the planet. Or plane. Or surface. Earth. Whatever you want to.
Illinois pyramid. I found it.
Yeah, there's like 8 of them, if I remember correctly. You know, when I first heard about it, I was shocked myself.
Right.
Just like how you
Okay.
have a few that are a few miles apart, there's a few of them out there.
Yeah. God, they look a bit weird, don't they? Am I looking at the right thing? Some of these look a bit weird.
They look like piles of dirt that are squared in shape, usually squared and rectangular, where they're not like pyramidian shapes, but they are still, they're semi monolithic, but they're not made of stone. These are earthen mounds, just like the ones in your backyard. Only the shape really dictates if you know how to read the pyramid code, as Karl Monk is.
Looks like Angel dropped out there.
Oh, I've just got the pictures up. I'll wait till he comes back. Oh. Yeah, he's had a bit of a problem today, sort of coming on the internet. Oh, he's back now.
Sorry
We
about
lost
that.
you.
It fell right mid word. I was saying
I
that
know.
they are, I believe, to be read from altitude as waypoints.
Do you want me to show them then?
Yeah, go ahead. I think, you know, nothing to hide about them. They do exist.
Hang on, I've just got to find them. I'm not sharing very well. It's cancel.
Yeah. I'm on an iPhone today, which is part of the reason I had trouble getting on. I had to actually use that link you sent me using my real email.
That's all right. Sometimes it happens like that. I'm just trying to get to screen share. Come on. Hopefully this is the right pictures, by the way. Can everybody see them?
Yeah, looking good here.
I see a grid pattern.
Is that them, Angel? Wow, look good.
I don't see them yet.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. My computer, everything's just bouncing around here at the moment. Hang on.
Now it's good, Karen.
Yeah, some of them, Sam.
So let me present it. Oh God, there you go. I know some of them aren't, because I said, whoa, some of them look a bit weird, but they're in the middle. They're at the second row down. That's what you're talking about.
That and it looks like some of them, the top row, the second one in, kind of, they look like that. But I think that one's actually in South America. But they look just like that.
Do you think they're more fortresses?
Actually, I think they do, some of them do dual purpose, primarily waypoints, just like the Nazca lines,
You know what I
and other
found
things.
what I found in my little bit that I was doing when I was looking up the other stuff is that could be the base of the pyramid, and the rest of the pyramid is gone. Because that's what someone else was talking about, was that there were these bases which look like pyramids, but the rest of the pyramid has been destroyed, dismantled, taken somewhere else. But the bases are very like they could be pyramids. Is that what you think, Angel?
Well, what I do really primarily, I think most of them are waypoints. Some of them may have, because of how energy, like static energy, can be quarantined, there may be function, but more theoretical than knowing that they are waypoints. Markings so that when you're doing navigation by air, you don't have to stop and ask somebody what street corner you're at. You can use them as waypoints, and their structure dictates a a mathematical code which lets you know its grid point, which correlates to longitude and latitude on our current way of mapping out the surface.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, that maybe 10, 15 years ago in your life you never saw any of this stuff or whatever, and now you just can't stop finding it or seeing it, or someone else is bringing it or talking about it. Pyramids everywhere.
Right, and when you know the bigger picture, some of them make sense. Now, I wanted to point out, artists, those pictures of the melting buildings are quite awesome, and I think it does. If we actually got inside and looked at the rooms, I don't think they're carved out of rock, molded. But that's again
Molded.
theory and nothing I have molded. Like the same way we pour cement and pour concrete and.
Well, that's looking at it differently then, isn't it? Because that's not them humping great big stones everywhere in levitation then, is it, if it's moulding?
Yeah.
The same way I do believe that the Giza pyramids are poured. I do believe that some of those other structures are poured, and hence why they can have such funky shapes. The one you were pointing out with the pinholes, that's probably because they were cutting through the rock. You cut through a certain depth, and then you crack that edge off, and then you can fine tune it. They do that same thing in rock cutting today. When you look at how they cut slate and granite and stuff, it's the same tech. You know, we just never gave them credit for that.
Okay. Yep,
That totally changes it, doesn't it, if they were pouring them and making them on site? How come there's no evidence of it?
A working theory, and it's just a theory. I have nothing other than things that I've seen to back it, but that's what I'm going with after all the evidence I've seen.
How come there's no evidence of how they made them, though, if you know what I mean? How come there's no... We haven't come across a pouring plant or a...
Well, basically what that site in Pumapunku in Peru looks like a pouring plant. Because you have actually a plateau that is very level, that is very made of a very hard stone. And all those H blocks and other shapes you have over there, you can put together. Basically, there are also holes that you can pour stones in those kind of shapes. And I also showed in another hangout that you can actually, there are buildings near that site that have the shape of those H blocks and other stone shapes in that area of Pumapunku. So, but also it appears to be, I don't know for sure, of course, but it looks a lot like that site in Pumapunku in Peru was a pouring station for stones. And maybe that's why those stones are magnetic. But actually, you don't have to put a rope around it. You could click those stones together, and because of those magnetic properties, they will stick together. Then you could pour something, and don't have to put bolts in or screws in, because of the magnetic properties of the stones. They click together like magnets click, and then you can pour, click them back. Next one, click, pour.
Can I ask you something? Do you and Angel think that they were like clay, and the clay's hardened up into rock?
Something of something that is that you could basically pour liquid stone, and then it hardens. And also with those structures I showed, they are melted. So you never know. There were once probably building blocks, but because they were melted by a very strong force, you don't see the blocks anymore because they are fused together. So indeed, it could be, all those structures could be made from poured stones, but because of the big discharge, those stones melted and they fused together, and then you can't see the building blocks anymore because they are basically fused together. Then it's very hard to actually see.
Well, I would think at the bottom near the structure where it's still in a good solid shape, that if that was true, you'd be able to see the molding points at that point. So, but it could be that the whole structure was one pour. I don't give these guys no credit. I mean, they've done some pretty amazing things.
Oh yeah.
But like your hypothesis on the reason for the stone being magnetized. And you do know if you polarize something one way, the other way, one way, the other way, then it is easier to snap it to its right spot because it fits right in, and it's easier to break than when you have two opposite magnets hitting each other. So this is...
You mean the energy in the stones, you mean?
Well, the magnetism of the stones that he was pointing out, that the with the compass next to the stones, how they are magnetized. It's not, it maybe they are. You know, he put a compass next to it, and you were able to see it going at 90-degree angles. That was engineered. That's not random.
Indeed.
Yeah, because the stones at Avebury are like that. They've done dowsing sticks, and there's 3 levels in each of these great big stones. 3 different levels of as the dowsing sticks hit that, it starts swinging around, then it stops, it swings around. So they knew that these stones had 3 layers of different energy and frequencies in them, which they needed for however the stone circle worked properly. So yeah, FPV was wondering whether those are the angels working from below, the stuff in the ground, which is to do with his work. But I'm just wondering whether they knew what were in the stones. That's just still amazing, though. Don't you think that they understood all that? It's like if they were this sort of, how can you put it, to us, like nomads, like it's just impossible that they knew so much. They mapped everything out. They mapped everything out, and yet they're supposed to be not. You know, we're supposed to be much more high tech than them. I think it was the other way around.
I do believe, it was one of the guys who's into the pyramids a whole lot and is on the news. He says that we are a society with amnesia, and I do believe that. And part of it is not truly amnesia; it's programmed amnesia. They don't want us to know our history. They don't want us to know. They really don't want us to know our history. If we know our history, we'd object to things because rules and things were put into place, like the Magna Carta and stuff like that, because of tyranny. Then we would understand why these building blocks were put into place. But because of things like 9/11 and stuff, and we don't know our history, we easily dismiss the building blocks that were put in place to protect us because we don't know our history.
Yeah, and in a sense, when you think about how all these, I know the buildings at the Twin Towers were steel and stuff, but when you saw what happened to them in whatever happened there, it kind of looks a bit like what's happened to these structures, which are stone. I mean, what do you call them now, artists? Maltesers. They've got like bubbles in them. They've got holes in them.
They appear to be struck by a strong force that melted the stone, because you can see air bubbles on the surface. It's almost like you burn plastic. If you hold a lighter to a piece of plastic, you can see the same time of shape almost, and it also darkens. It also starts dripping at one point like a candle. It almost has the same. You can maybe test it out, a piece of plastic, hold a lighter to it, and you can see that the shapes are appearing that look very similar to those shapes of those rocks I showed. Maybe I have to do that, build a structure in plastic and then put a blowtorch on it and see what happens. Yeah, that's maybe a good example to show how it happened, probably. Yeah, he gave me an idea. He gave me an idea, Karen.
You know what they would have said? They'd have said, that looks like a volcano's erupted all over them and it's molten lava.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we've been brought up like. That's what we would have been told.
That's all kinds of BS. Like, just like Angel said, look over there. Oh no, that's just a pile of dirt. Look at Stonehenge, because we fabricated and built it ourselves. So we know a lot about that structure, yeah, because you built it probably in the 1800s, early 1800s. So they will always want to distract you from something they don't want you to research. They distract you from something, just like those pyramids in India I found. Just by accident, a guy took 2 pictures It was traveling the road. It was taking all kinds of pictures. That whole road he was traveling. And then I thought, oh, wait a second. And they took 2 pictures of mountains that look very much like pyramids. I don't know if they are, but they clearly have the same shape of a pyramid. So that's sometimes, yeah, you stumble on things that you won't find ever sometimes by accident, because you research and then you find sometimes sometimes things you're probably not supposed to find. Yeah, they try to hide it. And that's great that we live now in a day and age that everybody has a cell phone to make a lot of pictures. Yeah, and sometimes they make pictures of things they don't understand, but we all will understand, and we say, oh, wait a second, that looks like a pyramid. Oh, wait a second, that looks like that kind of a building, ancient structure. Yeah. So that's a great day that we live in an age now that everybody takes a lot of pictures. So therefore, there are a lot of pictures on the internet that we can use and use for our research.
Can I just say something? I'm glad you're talking about using things. I've just found something here.
Mm-hmm.
This is in the north of Denmark, and it looks very interesting.
Oh, shall we, Astro?
If you were at ground level, you'd just think it was a pile of bumps, hills. But I'll show you now, and I hope that I'm not sweaty. Yeah.
There's the excitement, probably.
No. I'm just too. My hands are warm. I'll just turn it down so that you can see it, because it's too bright otherwise, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You know. Well, can I add it to that? Bear with me. You might like this. This FPV, we've got to find the coordinates for this. I'm sure this is going to be good for you, man. I'm sure. I like this.
Yeah, I'm also searching. I'm also having the coordinates of those pyramids in India. So I will put them in a group chat.
I've just put it on the back chat here, the photograph. So because I don't know how to upload the thing. How do you do that? Yeah. Can you do it, Karen?
What do you want me to do?
I've just added the photo here in the back chat.
Oh,
I haven't got the back chat. Remember, because I'm plugged into the other.
I will look at the back chat. Wait a second.
Yeah.
Artist will be able to show it. Thanks, artist.
Yeah, wait a second. I first have to turn on the back chat.
It's got 12 mounds. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That I can see immediately anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Can you find it, Artie?
Is there any way we can
Yeah,
share
wait
that?
a second. My computer is just... I have to shut down a site, otherwise my computer is too slow.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I have still Google Earth. I have to shut down Google Earth, otherwise I have Google Earth, YouTube, this, that, on. Yeah, I have to shut down one, or otherwise...
We can't do it all, can we?
You're going to crash the internet of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, is that one from the iPad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can see. Yeah, I'm going to copy paste it, and then I will show. Got it. Yeah, just a couple of seconds.
Yeah. But it'd be interesting to find what they actually line up, if they line up with anything. But I mean, just that there's 12, that's very interesting in my head anyway.
Mm-hmm. Wait a second, I have to re-log in. Wait a second, just a second.
I need to make some coffee.
Oh, Astral has gone. Have you managed to find it, Artis?
I already have it, but for some reason my share doesn't work.
Do it again then. Sometimes It doesn't. You have to have the picture up, by the way, for the share to work.
I know, I have, but sometimes no, that's just.
What's the picture? Shall I see if I can get it then?
I can send it to you on Facebook. Will that work? Or I send it to Angel or Patricia.
Oh, wait a minute. What's it called again? I'll look it up my end.
Or to my messenger, maybe.
Oh, I will send it to Judith.
Yeah,
Okay?
but I'm on the computer, and it, like you say, getting to Facebook just slows everything down on my computer.
Me too. I have Facebook. I have already Facebook up. I will show it. I will send it to you. Though it takes only 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. I send it to you.
Hey, Astral, what was it that you found? Tell me again where it is.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me. I've got the kettle going here. It's an aerial picture of some sort of burial ground, apparently. But it's when I look at it, it's obviously laid out like in some certain pattern. There's 12 of them.
I send it.
It's a field
where is
from
this?
above.
I send it to Judith. Do you have it, Judith, on Facebook?
But it would be interesting to
Yes,
find out if it
Karen, I
lines
said
up with
that
anything along FPV's nodes.
Okay.
Judith has it.
Yeah, Judith sent it to me, but I've got to get it from.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll try and get it off Facebook now. Then just wait a minute, everybody.
Oh, it works again. Sorry, it works again. Just it popped in. I can show it now.
Again.
Yeah, I have it. Yeah, sometimes it takes a while. Yeah, I have it, Karen. Can you see my screen?
I'm just gonna present you.
Yeah, for some reason I couldn't share for a moment, but it now works again.
Oh yeah, those are like those things that I've told you about. They're up at Avery as well. Yeah.
Here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Ooh. These are here. These also appear to be roundish shapes here, because that's very strange that you have two green patches in the land.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw them and I was like, but they're on the other side of that road. So.
Well, often just like it could be trees. But,
Can I ask something? FPV, are you there?
Yeah.
You know the Nazca lines you're saying is a blueprint of where we live. Does that mean it's like all over places like this picture here? I know maybe it's not exactly lined there, but over the earth we live on, and we just only see it from above, or the trees and grass are covering it, or is it just in the Nazca lines? That's where the blueprint is.
Yeah.
Well, the Nazca lines, to me, the detail and the technological construction, and many other, there's many other things there that I haven't decoded or probably need decoded.
What I'm saying is the whole place we live on that grid, or are the grids just there as a blueprint?
The grid's there to show you how the sun and moon work on this grid, and where the energy source is coming from, and how the angels play a part in the running of the world, basically.
Thank you. Sorry, carry on, Artis.
Yeah, sites will have mounds, pyramids. I think in those times people knew how to harness the power, the energy sources that were going on, and these pyramids seem to be a part of it.
Just for Astro, where is it? Or where?
It's in the north of Denmark, and it's funnily.
Also, if you type in a road,
it's called a town called Lemvig.
Okay, in Denmark.
In the north of Denmark. But it's funny because that blue map there that FPV has, the one with the sine wave on it, right? I'm looking at it, and it goes through the UK, and then it looks like it's hitting Denmark.
Yeah.
And I figured, it looks kind of like it's in the north of Denmark, so it could actually be.
Do you know what? There's a pyramid up there. Would you believe it, Astral? You know, at the very top where the seas meet, there's a pyramid up there, up by those German bunkers.
Right. Yeah. In
There's a
Skagen.
pyramid there. I found it on a grid. There's a pyramid there.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, I would expect to see them anywhere on the ley lines of that grid.
For anybody that doesn't know, I'm talking about the very top part of Denmark is a little slither which sticks out. It's called, what's it called? Stagen.
Because it's spelled Skagen, but you say
Skagen.
it's Skane.
Skane, that's it.
Skane.
And my Danish friend lives not very far from Skane, and
Yeah,
I've been there a few times.
The two seas meet and they crisscross.
There's two seas which meet, the North Sea and the East Sea, so they say, but obviously the North Sea is much rougher. You can't go in the sea at that point, and you can see the seas lapping against each other. But what it is before that, there's loads of German bunkers, and they said that they were put there because obviously across the water is Norway, Sweden. A war. Yeah. It was about gaining control of the entrance into this area where Norway, Sweden, and all these other countries were. But there's loads of bunkers there. But there isn't in there somewhere, in that lot there, because there's a mound of earth and hills and bunkers and what do you call it? What's the other thing you have? The grasses, because it's all sand dunes. It's all sand dunes.
Oh, yeah, clit. They call them clit. With a K.
There's loads of sand dunes at this part of, I mean, there's a great big sand dune going across the top of Denmark. It's the biggest, what do you call it, desert in the north. And most people don't even know this thing is going across Denmark. It eats everything in its way, and it goes like 10, 20 meters a year.
You should be a tourist guide for Denmark. You know more than I do.
Yeah, I've been there twice, haven't I?
I'll just say Chris Monk's in the chat, and he's commented, stacked layers of clay, jade, clay, granite, etc., etc., electromagnetic fields, well, to create electromagnetic fields local to the temple dielectric capacitance. That's
okay.
Hello, Chris.
Hey, Chris. Chris does a great research, and basically I'm building further on his research he's doing. So thank you for all the help, because Chris Monk helps me out a lot, and sends me also videos to me on Facebook that he says, oh, look at this. So yeah, and of course all the other people also help me. But Chris Monk helps me a lot. It's one of the big helpers for me in my part. Yeah.
You're sort of also progressing along with the work that he did originally, aren't you? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm going and progressing on his work and adding things to it. Yeah. And for FPV, I already saw it. And the group chat has put in the pyramid goats for those two pyramids in India, in the Andhra Pradesh area in India, so he can add it to his work, because those are two pyramids that are not very well known. And I will send you other links, FPV, but I don't have you on Facebook. I don't know if Karen has you on Facebook. Karen?
No, I don't use that garbage. It's spyware. You get me on the Hangouts. Just add me on the Hangouts, artists. That'd be easier.
Or
I'll just do it via the Hangout link. Go to the Hangouts and find FPV. I'm sure you're in the Sun and Moon group there. His name, and then add him. If not, I'll help you.
In the back chat, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. And I can also send you private message, of course, on YouTube. Yeah.
Captain Kirk is saying something in the chat room. I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Well, the back chat's like a private messaging system, Artie, so if you had me there, we can private message anytime.
Captain Kirk, explain a bit more. There's 3 pyramids.
I don't use the back chat a lot, so therefore I have to learn to use that a little bit more.
For this Hangout, but you can add me as a separate person there, and then you get private messaging straight to me.
I'll have to look into that, because I never used that back chat.
I know it's a bit annoying sometimes, artists. I wish you would.
That's where I get my link from.
There's where all the people come on the hangout from. There,
I
really.
never watched the back chat because I was I always did it on Facebook. It's the way I always did it, and I didn't knew about the back chat because I'm not not a computer wizard. So I don't know a lot about computers. So you made me aware that I can also use that.
We'll let you off, artists. It's just that's how all added directly to the panel. I email Angel, but a lot of the people come in from the hangouts, and it's a good way of messaging each other. A lot of people hang around in the hangout chat, don't they, Astral?
Yes.
I have to learn to use it a bit more.
FPV, I've just found another one. This one is of big significance, I think. It's called the Yelling with a J. And there's two mounds there anyway. It's like a Viking thing, but I know it plays a part in the Danish history it's of some importance anyway, on a higher level. So
I tell you what I could
I'll
do
find
is,
that.
if you haven't got it, I can give you a series map, and you just put a dot where they are on the map.
Yeah.
Start plotting them on the map if you want.
Better. Yeah, good idea.
Hold on a sec, I'll find one. I'll upload it to you on the Hangouts.
I'd like to say something.
Go for it, Judith.
About the pyramid. Two things left us. It's the Bible and the pyramid. And it's very strong symbols, the pyramid for our life. And it's the same as the Bible, the pyramid. It's we're looking for evidence, something there, reality from pyramid, but it's how I see it. It's spiritual. The pyramid. It's spiritual. It's not physical. It's for me. It's meaning totally spiritual, and how we should see the life, how we should see, let God see through us life in this triangle, this shape, through this shape, and through these three options that we've got in life, always three options. So the pyramid is so symbol, so strong, and we are not speaking enough about this spiritual pyramid. We're looking for the evidence, the reality evidence, but I don't think it's there. The way I see it, it's spiritual, and how we should see and live our life, and let God, let the creation see life through me, through my eye. So it's the eye. So it's double meaning. Yeah, that's what I want to say. And,
Thank you, Judith.
And I don't think there is somebody try to hide something from us, because it's simple, and the answer is there. It's very simple, and who they were, this teacher, they want us to discover this truth. They want us. They want us very much to discover this truth. This is how I see it.
Yeah, I think a lot of us see it like that as well, Judith. On this sort of frequency together. I mean, we were talking about a bond that we've all got, all these people that come on the hangout. We have a spiritual bond with each other.
Hey peeps, I've got a map overlay here. I'll just paste it into the group chat. And I'll drop it into the chat over there as well.
What's
so at least
this?
You've got a map. So this is a map. This is an overhead map with the halos added. So if you want to plot anything on it yourself, just put a little dot where you think something of relevance is on that map. It's just for people to join in with. Yeah, they join in with it, and if you see a halo, plot it on the map, or if you found pyramids, plot them on that map. And we'll see how they relate to these halos and the nodes.
Artist Chris says that he's emailed you.
I've got the latitude and longitude here. Can they be dropped on it, or is it a pin?
Yeah, Chris sent me in a PDF file. Thanks, Chris. Thank you very much. Because it's, I can show you, maybe.
Angel, you keep moving. Astral, you keep moving around there. It must be the rotation on the ball. It keeps getting you.
Sorry.
And he's sideways
again. I'm on my phone.
Yeah, can you see this? This is what Chris sent me.
Hang on a sec.
Frequency and temperature on rock dielectric properties. So that's interesting.
A minute. There you go.
Okay, thanks. This is what Chris sent me. Effect of frequencies and temperatures on rock dielectric properties. Honeywell Incorporated. So that's interesting. A little bigger. It's from July 1973. Bureau of Mines, Advanced Research Project Agency. And this research, of course. Ja, dat is het technisch wel. So I have to thanks very much, Chris, for this. So you can read this. The real imaginary components of dielectric contents in the determinant of basalt, granite, and quartz in a frequency range from 10 megahertz to 4 megahertz. A variation of the electric permittivity with the temperature was determined from the room temperature to 450 degrees. No dielectric dispersion or rock relaxation was observed in the frequency range investigated, etc. But I have to look into it. Thank you very much for this. And it's a big folder.
Just what artist likes is a bit of documentation to look through.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, thank you very, very, very much, Chris. Again, he sends me all kinds of things, and yeah, this is something.
Chris made a point of looking at basalt.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it states here. Yeah, indeed. The properties of basalt here.
Yeah. Captain Kirk says you're Inspector Artist.
Inspector Artist. Just kidding.
He was good. I used to rush home from school to see that.
Yeah.
Don't be melting rock in your living room now. It has to be done outside.
When you heard on the news, just on the news today, on the German news, an investigator named Ray Koos has put a big hole in Germany because he was melting rock.
Yeah, he's broken it.
It ran wrong. A big strike happened in Germany because of artists were doing some experiments. Yeah, who knows? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, turning into a wizard.
Well, I'm going to do an experiment with plastic because if you burn plastic, I want to see what happens if it becomes fluid. Or maybe a big candle, then carve out a structure and then melt it and see what happens. And yeah, just some experiments.
Angel, you've been a bit quiet tonight. He's probably doing his snakes.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go and grab a brew. I'll be back in a minute.
Angel the snake.
Yeah, I want to make a quick drink in a minute. I need Angel to come back and talk.
Hey, you need some adverts. It's some adverts, Cameron, for toilet breaks.
Artist likes playing his little, what do you call it, mouth organ.
Yeah, can always play some mouth organ between that everybody can take a drink, and then I fill it up. Because I already got my brew.
You mind then? I'm just going to go and get a quick drink. 2 minutes.
2 minutes? Do you want to hear some music, guys?
Tea.
Hey, I'm gonna have to go. I'm up in the morning early, so I'm gonna have to go.
Well, wait till I get back. Astral, wait till I get back. Just let me go and get a drink, and then I'll make.
Karen wants to give you a hug before you go.
Yeah. Hang on, so let me go and get a drink.
Yeah. Karen is getting a drink. Karen is getting a drink. She won't be long away because she's getting.
Hey, Artis.
Yeah?
While she's away, well, it doesn't have to do it while she's away, but while there's a downtime, I wanted to say that, you know, it is possible to melt rock. We call that lava. And it is possible that at some point in the past, we either had some sort of a huge solar flare, or they had some sort of a nuclear type device or something that would achieve high temperatures. Or maybe they had, what was that? Well, something where they could produce heat to melt it. But the way they look like candle, that is quite amazing. And that's why I'd like to, if with the viewers that she has, see if potentially somebody can get there and get pictures more close up of the structure inside of it to see if it was carved or if it looks more like it's molded inside where the structure is still intact and hasn't been melted.
Oh yeah, also
just to see what type of technology was used.
Also very close to the surface that you taken a micro shot of a small distance, but very close by, that you can see the structure of the stone. But we always see it from a couple of meters away. Just like with Devil's Tower, somebody took a picture very close by, only a couple of inches from the surface, and you could see all the minerals in that. And you can't see that from a distance. Yeah. So it would be cool if somebody lived in that area and took a photo of that structure, also from close by.
Yeah, and the fact that these guys were able to construct rock with, I'm assuming, fine metallic particulates or something that is holding the magnetism, and do it in such a pattern, just documents that they knew the technology and that they knew how to manipulate it.
Indeed. That's why it's one of the last videos of Brian Forrester. One of his last videos about Puma Punku. Then because he has a better camera now, he puts on every side where he goes, he puts a compass to see what happens. And I was amazed by indeed that the needle turned 90 degrees back, or 45 degrees. Yeah. And indeed, like you said, it was engineered in that way. It's not by accident.
I'm back.
We're already back.
I'm back. I've got my cup of tea. Here's yours. Astral, did you say that you wanted to go to sleep?
You're muted.
You're muted.
Mute yourself.
There we go. Yeah, I've got to get up early in the morning for work. So and it's 12:30 here almost. So
thank you very much for watching the Bro and Santos hangout, because that was quite a long one, wasn't it? It was about 7 hours.
Yeah. That was awesome. That was awesome. A lot to learn then. If no one's seen it yet, watch it. You know, a lot to learn.
You're in the same time zone as me. It's almost 12:30 here.
Yeah. I'll keep listening, but thanks for having me. And
our pleasure, Astral. Big flat earth hugs to you. Big flat earth hugs.
Thanks, man, for all the information you brought to the. Thanks for all the information you brought.
See ya.
You.
He's saying
Yeah,
thanks
so,
for the information, Angel. Artist. Oh my goodness, all the A's. Astral, Angel, artist. Yeah. Sorry, what was Angel talking about as I came back? What was he saying?
I was talking about how the pictures he was showing of the structures that are melted, that they do look like they're melted. And, you know, we know that technology exists. We call it lava. And we know we have the technology ourselves to make it do that. We call that nuclear fission. Plus, I think we can actually melt rock in a furnace. But it just shows that either there was some sort of a solar flare or that somebody at some point in the past had the technology to artificially make that much heat. But, you know, it is evidence that I think that they are truly melted like he shows. I mean, they wouldn't have constructed them that way, I don't think.
Oh, the sun or moon got a bit too close at some point.
Well, indeed, they
that is where... Who was that god that borrowed his, or the sun borrowed his wings and flew close to the sky? Maybe that's where he landed.
Yeah.
Joke.
No.
I don't really believe that the Greek mythology is factual. I just think it's based on physical things, and they use the stories to describe it.
Yeah. Indeed, sometimes they are. They make something that happened into an ancient story, an ancient storytelling thing. Yeah.
Well, I think before we had recorded text, before we had books and manifests, and we taught people how to read and write, that you could tell a story, and it's a lot easier to remember a story. And if you put more detail into it, like so-and-so slew so-and-so, and he had this type of medallion and da-da-da, you remember some of the details, which helps you remember the story. And that's how history has been translated. That's how the Indians do it. That's how Mayans were doing a lot of things before they had recorded text. So this is how we got our mythology. And most of the mythology revolves around the celestial bodies. And it was, how do you remember the celestial bodies? Which came first, which came second? You know, the chicken and the egg is with the stories. And when you listen to the stories and look at the stars, you know, the stars kind of line up to the story because they were made off of each other.
Even back in the day, you had those minstrels that sung stories in medieval times. Yeah. They would have a guitar and go from castle to castle and tell the stories of a certain areas.
Hey guys, I'm going to drop out now, so I'll say me goodbyes now, and we'll catch up again, don't worry.
Okay, FPV. Great.
FPV, big fat flat earth hugs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the information you shared with it and the maps you showed, because it helps me also a lot, because of your map and all the points on there, they're basically most of them are recognized. That shows that I'm on the right track. And sometimes it's great to see that your work presented in another kind of fashion, that it fits perfectly. So therefore, you know that you are going in the right direction.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, it helps both ways, doesn't it? You know, I've got your sites to plot on this map somewhere. But
I'm going to work on it. Yeah, for sure.
So okay, more guys, research. Thanks so much for your research, though, FPV.
No worries. Catch you later, guys. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
What else do you want to talk about tonight, guys? Angel artist.
Well, I covered.
I'm just listening.
I've covered most of it. What I want to talk about. The rest is still. The rest is not finished. The rest is basically still in the works.
Artists, when you are going to the desert, the first thing that you feel, you, you feel your body is live, probably because of the magnet in the stone.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also sat on. We have those dolmens here in Germany, and basically they're on the border of the Netherlands and Germany. There are a lot of those dolmen structures made of big stones on top of each other. And when you sit on them, you can actually feel, yeah, you can feel the
Reaction.
yeah, the reaction of the stones. You can feel you feel it. You feel it. You feel some sort of charge going to your body.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's why
You
next
get
time.
nice feelings, don't you, when you're going near these things? A nice awe. Feel a nice awe.
That's why next time I will bring a compass, move it on those stones to see what happens. Yeah, because most of those dolmen-shaped structures have also their entrance, because sometimes they have something that looks a bit like an entrance. It's basically two stones outside of the structure that appears to be door-shaped a bit. And they always head facing south, sometimes east, but most of the time south. But I will, next time, if I'm in the Netherlands, I will bring my compass and also make a video what the reaction of the compass is on those stones. Because I've never seen it done. Brian Forrester did it, and then I thought, well, I have to do it also. But if I encourage everybody, if they have a compass and they have an ancient structure nearby, go to it with your compass and move the compass on the stone, slide it across in all directions and see what happens. It wouldn't surprise me that they are magnetic properties in them, and that you can see, just like in the stills of the video of Brian Foster that showed it, the needle will move around.
Oh, nice.
I was very surprised.
Oh, you finished, Artis?
Yeah, I'm finished. Yeah, I'm thinking. Sorry. I'm still absorbing some things, and I'm already thinking about things to do tomorrow and in this week and research. Because you have so much information in one hangout that you have to process it and think, you have to research that and that and that and that. Most of the time I don't have enough time. Sometimes I stay up very late and I think, oh God, it's 4 o'clock in the evening. I have to get to bed, and then I'm not even finished. Yeah, it's.
I know, you start wanting to do it, don't you? Suddenly it all hits your mind just as you're going to bed about 2, 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and you think,
yeah. Yeah.
Can I ask Angel and you, Artis, how I really hope this happens next week with this John Crowe. Crowe.
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that I know he's not a flat earther or maybe, but he sounds quite up on pyramids, doesn't he? And, he's putting that the Silbury Pyramid is one of the first pyramids built. It's all chalk. It's done in chalk. It's one of the first pyramids. And you think, what? And then I came across another post, which is on this video I'm trying to upload, where they reckoned Silbury Hill was one thing, Avebury was another, and Stonehenge was something else. It's all part of like an engine room. It's all part of one big system.
Yeah, I wonder if he knows about that other big structure that is not Stonehenge, but that other one. I think that is far more interesting.
Avebury.
You have another structure that is far more interesting than Stonehenge. It's not well known because, and I think it's far more interesting.
Well,
it's also bigger, far bigger than Stonehenge.
Well, that and knowing that Stonehenge was fabricated 60 years ago.
Indeed. As those stones were from a monolithic site, they moved it. So it's not even on the original site. If it was actually.
It does look like they're built on an arcing, though. They've put whatever it is. There's an arcing on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
That bit's real. Just the stones aren't.
But they moved the whole structure. So it's not on the original site. If those stones were ever a monolithic structure, well, there are some old drawings of Stonehenge that maybe it was in the distant past the structure, but they moved it so much around, so it's not probably not in the original location, and it is also not in the shape that it was originally.
Well, it is conceivable that the Druids, or whoever it was that re-engineered Giza, or not Giza, Stonehenge, who fixed it in the mid-1900s, may have had original knowledge of the structure.
Oh, yeah.
Just like I really think that the Pope over there in Rome probably has some knowledge, if he ever read the books, that would quite surprise him. So it is possible that they reconstructed the structure based on original knowledge, and which does still make it worthy of focusing on. But knowing that it was reconstructed, if there are other structures that are in existence that weren't reconstructed, I think they really have more credence.
Well, I have here one if you want to see. This is Calendish stone circle on the Isles of Lewis. That was never tampered with. And if you go a couple of
except for we moved some of the rocks to build roads and stuff through it now.
Yeah, maybe they extracted here, and you can see also the alignment. Capella Rise, BC 1800. Tropic Full Moon Rise relates to it. This is the Palladius Rise. This is the equinoctial sunset. This is lined up with the true south and north. So the true Mediterranean is over here. So it's aligned with a lot of things. This is basically from 1909, a drawing of that site. So this site lines up also with a lot of things. And I think, to me, this looks more interesting than Stonehenge, but maybe it's just me. Also, what appears to be, if you see the shape of these stones, and then this one next to it, it almost looks like they fit together, like a puzzle pieces. So these are the puzzle pieces. Or maybe this one fits to this one. This one has an see the odd shapes of this. A very odd shape, this. See? Almost like a puzzle piece. So that's also interesting. Here, the strange shapes. And not, this is Stonehenge. Built, made with metal. Maybe it's just me, but I think this side is a little bit more interesting. And as far as I know, it's not tampered with. And that's the Calendish stone circle on the Isles of Lewis. But just, probably you don't know that side. I don't know if somebody knows that side.
How far in the ground do you reckon that they're dug into then?
For those stones? I don't know for sure. I don't know how deep they are in the ground. Probably deep enough to make it last a long time. But
probably 20% of their size.
Okay. But just to show you, there's not only Stonehenge, but there's also another side that is also very interesting.
I think what you'll find is a lot of these ones that are still standing and aren't tampered with are places like islands, Shetlands. They're not in the public view, and this is how they can almost pretend like, oh, there's just Stonehenge and Avebury. There's just a couple of them. You can't help the ones that are visible, but there's a lot that are invisible. I mean, I even found another little pyramid in Marlborough. It's called Marlborough Mound, and right in the middle of this street, it's on my next video I'm uploading. Is this little step pyramid and they built all the houses around it.
Yeah, that shows you that a lot of times there are a lot of pyramids and other melodic structures that aren't well known. And just like Ancient said, I think it's a great thing how he said it. I liked it very much. Look over there at that structure, but don't look at that pile of dirt because that's not important. They always want to point you in a direction that fits to their not the thing that they want to present. So they always want to get the attention of the structures that fit in their puzzle, and not the structures that don't fit in the puzzle or say another story. So that's why I think sometimes certain melodic structures and ancient sites are not talked about, because they don't fit in their structure they want to present about the history. And then they also don't want people to research it, because if they always want to point you in the direction they want you to go in. And that's why I research all kinds of other structures.
Do you want me to show the little video I found about this? It's called Merlin's Mound, Marlborough, 10 miles away from Silbury Hill. They have white horses chalked into the ground. I'll just present it then. Hang on, let me get it like that so everybody can see it. Everybody can see that now?
I can see the screen.
I'm just going to present it. Oh, bouncing around all over the place. Go on. Everybody can see that now?
Yeah.
But it's not
right, here we go. Yeah, it hasn't started yet. Here we go. It's going to play up, isn't it? No! Let me see if I make it a bit smaller, it plays it. Ooh. Will it play? It's not going to play, is it? But this is it. This is it. This is another pyramid in. Where is it? How annoying is that?
Well, everybody can see the name of the video, so they can always.
Yeah, it's just I don't know why it's not playing it now. I haven't got that much. There you go. There it is.
Oh, yeah.
It's just in the middle of Marlborough. It's got these trees growing out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Step pyramid or something.
And it appears to be that you can go inside, because you have here a structure that looks a bit like a small castle with two windows and a door in the middle. It almost appears to be that you can go inside. See that door with the two windows next to it? Here, now you can see it bigger almost. Here, it looks like an entrance here in front. See?
Yeah, but it's definitely some kind of little pyramid thingy.
Yeah, and they built they built an entrance building.
But you can walk up that and walk around it and walk up to the top. You could actually go onto the top of that.
Oh, it's a spiraling road going to the top. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there's a street with houses all around it, and then this thing in the middle with trees growing out of it.
Yeah. We have
Sorry,
one
it's
also.
a bit.
We also have here in Germany one dolmen that is in an area with houses. And you have a small. It was funny. It was a small dolmen, just in the middle of a neighborhood, in a small park, and there was the dolmen. And I was photographing it, and then a guy walked up to me. Now you are finally going to demolish that old playing site. I said, no, that's an ancient structure. Oh, I have lived here for almost 10 years, and I thought it was an old playing site for children. I said, no, it's a monolithic structure.
That's what we realise it is now. I'm sorry, it's a bit slow, but that looks pyramid-like, doesn't it? In the middle of Marlborough.
Yeah.
Anyway, my computer's messing around, so I'll just stop.
That guy that thought, that guy probably thought that I was from the government, and that I was measuring for a new playing site for children. But I was photographing that dolmen structure. Yeah. So sometimes indeed they are surrounded by housings. Yeah. They are sometimes in the middle of a neighborhood.
Yeah, I didn't even know that myself, that there's another mound in Marlborough, which is like, from where I live, it goes Newbury, then it goes Hungerford, then it goes Marlborough, and then it goes to Caen, and just before Caen is all the stuff with Avebury and Silbury Hill. But so Marlborough, I didn't know that mound was in Marlborough. I've lived around here since the 1990s, so thought I would know that. But hey,
they don't
you learn
tell you
something new every day.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So these things are just appearing everywhere.
Yeah.
No, these things are just showing themselves suddenly everywhere.
Yeah, because you are doing research about them in your area, and then you will find them. But yeah, just like what Astrals showed us in Denmark, those pyramid shapes, and there weren't a lot of pictures of them. There's a couple. So sometimes even there are only, just like those pyramid shapes I showed in India, only 2 photographs, nothing more. So sometimes there's a lot of material from certain sites.
Well, if anybody comes across any of these things, like sees pictures or realizes they've got a halo which FPVs work, or there's a pyramid up the road, always let us know here on Sun and Moon, because Angel, Artist, FPV, all interested. Stan, his work as well, so we're all interested. We'll help each other.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting on for 3 hours now. I'm sorry, everybody. I was just absolutely knackered from that hangout this last night.
You had a very late hangout with Bro Sanchez.
Late, early, yeah. It went on all night.
Whoa.
And I'm really pleased that I think on that last week I actually called Bro Santos, because it's Bro Sanchez and Santos Bonacci. That's quite a mouthful to remember.
Yeah.
Getting it right. Angel, I said again, we haven't heard much from you. Is there anything you'd like to put in? Because obviously we've been going nearly 3 hours.
Well, I had some things I'd want to talk about art to set, but I think it would be probably better right after the hangout. But
you can talk about it. It's okay. We'll talk about it if
okay.
you want.
I would like to work with you artists to get like a Google map, and when every time we talk about a location, to put a pinpoint on a Google map which is publicly accessible, so people outside of the chat can actually find these places on a Google map and take a look at it from a top down and look at its location, and then they could also work to possibly find things nearby which would show like construction nearby and try to build up a better knowledge of our history than the random bits and pieces that we currently know. That's all.
Yeah, that will be great.
Because as far as one of the other things I'm pretty decent at is computers, so I'd be glad to help you on that side. And
Yeah,
I also,
I'm
one
not
of the
very
things that I've been meaning to get from you is one of the first chats we had, you pulled up a picture of the third largest structure on the plateau that had a small opening on the west side, that east side actually, that drew my attention to. I'm trying to get. I know it's in the chat, but I'm actually trying to get that picture because I want to print it out so I could actually use it in some of my presentations in hard copy format.
I sent you the picture on Facebook, the site on Facebook.
Right. This. Well. Okay. I know. You may have. There were some things on Facebook you sent me. I don't know if one of them was that picture, but if not,
I will send
I
you.
will look.
I will send you it again. Maybe it's lost in all the messages. Yeah, that could be
Yep.
true.
Facebook is not something I'm good at.
Oh.
While computers may be, Facebook is not. It doesn't qualify.
Okay. Well, I will send it to you again.
No, that's fine. You can do it on Facebook, or I can look on Facebook. I have to dig into Facebook more, and I kind of need to be at a computer to do that. And right now, I'm at the disadvantage because you're talking to me on a telephone.
Maybe I don't know if you have a second. Maybe I can find the actually.
We can do it. Yeah, you had done it with a weird search you had done it on, and I was trying to reinvent the wheel, and I couldn't find that exact same picture. But that is maybe not.
It's on Flickr. Basically, it's a site with all kinds of a lot of photographs, and what it was in his folder. So you have a lot of pictures. You actually have to scroll down.
That's right. You did send me the link, and it had lots and lots of pictures. I do remember that.
And if you scroll down all the way down, but then you scroll, then you think you hit the bottom. No, you have to wait a second, and the further the photos load. And if you scroll down, you will find that picture and all the pictures he took. Because he does it he does it in a row. So he takes a picture, next picture, next picture, and then he puts them in folders.
And then loads some more.
Yeah,
right. I
so
think you did actually send me.
Basically, if you go back, if you scroll all the way down, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to maybe 20, and then you can go back and forth. And that guy says, I think maybe 500 pictures about the Giza Plateau and the surroundings. All very sharp. But I will resend you the link again. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I thank you. Yeah, because I'm trying to.
Problem.
That whenever I refer to it, because I'm getting more to the point where I'm trying to include that when I'm talking about the plateau. Yeah. Depending on what level I'm talking to people at, it's kind of like if you're talking about an airplane to somebody. First, you start talking about what the wings do before you start talking about those little fine needles that come off the edge of the wing. Because if they don't know how the wind turbulence works, those fine needles that come off the end mean nothing. You know what I mean? Those little, on newer planes, how they have a little antenna sticking off the wing backwards. It helps with the air so it doesn't slap together as aerodynamics and stuff. But we only know that because of wind tunnels and things that we learned over time. A lot of it has come since the Wright brothers flew their airplane at Kitty Hawken.
Indeed. But I will resend you the site and the picture also separate.
Well, thank you.
No problem.
Now, do you find some of your stuff just by randomly looking, or do you have a book or a rabbit hole that you're digging through?
It almost appears that way. Yeah? Well, I have strange ways of. What I do, I go randomly to photos. So then I have a certain site. Then you have. On Google Earth, it's connected to Panoramio. If you click on a photo, you can go to Panorama. Then you can go to the site of actually that guy that posted the pictures. If you click on his name, and then you can see what all kinds of things he photographed. And then he has sometimes folders with different kind of topics. And then sometimes people have certain kind of topics and folders, ancient structures, this, blah, blah, blah. And then you go through those pictures, and sometimes there are 500 pictures. And then there's nothing, already seen it. Oh, that's interesting. So it takes a lot of time. Sometimes, most of the evenings, what I do is flip through photos. There's one after the other on sites, on the channels, on Panorama links. There are 2 sites on Flickr. And I type in a certain location, India, ancient structures, India, just random. Then some things pop up, and I think, oh, those photos look interesting. Click on the photo, click on the site, and then go to the folder of that certain topic, and I flip through all the photos, and I see what pops up. I don't know sometimes, and then see something. Oh, pyramids. Oh, something else. I don't know. And then look under the description of the photos, and then I have the description of that actually site. And sometimes it is a foreign language. And then type in the description again on another search engine, and then search on that search engine further for that same photo. So yeah, it's basically flipping through a lot of photos, and then try to find photos that I don't have. It takes a lot of time. Most of the time when I get home, I eat, and then basically do research the whole evening. And the next day again, and the next day again.
Well, thank you for your effort.
I hope I explained it in a good way.
So I was just muted there. Yes, you did, Altis. Thank you very much for all your effort. Hours and hours. You said you got nearly a million.
Thank you for the time that you invest.
I can even show. Maybe I can show you how I work. Maybe you find it interesting how I actually research.
We can do a hangout, you and I sometime, because I'd like to actually see it. But we don't need to worry about that right now. And I'm not at a computer, so I couldn't really. It wouldn't help me right now.
And we can see how I do it.
Well, maybe you can arrange to do a hangout together after today.
Yeah, that's what I said. He's on my Facebook. I'll ping him on that.
Yeah. I can share my screen. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. This is Flickr. I typed in ancient Russia. Maybe I typed it. Sometimes it helps if you type it in the. Yeah, you can see this. Oh, it's this. Click. Never saw it before. Then you see this guy, and it's Antonio Tenkov. You click on his name. And you go to these albums. And then you can see what he photographed. And then you flip through it. Oh, this is Portugal, other sites, blah, 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 blah.
So he actually took these pictures, a lot of them, or he collected them?
And sometimes he took them himself. Here it appears to me more that he collected them because they are very random. See, they are not in a row. And black and white. So this is basically a collection of photographs. But sometimes, if you type something else, you find that you can see that the photos are in a row from different sites. And then you are sure that the guy took them himself. So sometimes it's a collection of photos. And sometimes it's more the type that is in a row. I can type in that one I researched today. The Midas monument, for instance. And then I go back here to the Midas monument. Here we go. Click. Then you go to this side of him. It is basically his name. And then you go to albums because he put it in all folders. Here you can see all the. And you basically have to find that structure here. Here it is, 80 photos. And then you scroll down again, and here are the photos. See? This is how I do it. And there aren't a lot, but you can go back and then try another. See, this is another one by Mike. You click on it. And then you go to albums, because otherwise you get all the pictures in a row. And here you can see this is something I didn't know here. This, for instance, a picture I don't know. Yin Coyote volcano rock formations. No, I never seen that before. No, and then you go through his pictures. Because these are in a row, you can clearly see that he took them, probably took them himself. It's strange, like mushroom rocks. See? And that's how I do it. I hope that helps.
It does, especially if you know somebody who has a good album to dig through. And when he doesn't have it sorted by like, these are pictures from the Giza Plateau, unless you're randomly looking, it makes it hard to actually find.
It is hard to find, because sometimes you have to go to that side, nothing. Oh, those only have 12 pictures, only 2. And sometimes you stumble on a site that has 200 pictures of the Giza Plateau. Or a lot of pictures of that sites in Turkey. And sometimes you have to go to different sites. You take a couple of pictures from that side, a couple of pictures of that side, a couple of pictures of that side. But sometimes you are lucky, and then you have a lot of pictures of the same site. But this is how I do my research. And then I find, like I showed, those mushroom type of rocks. And he was smart enough to write the name of it. And then you type in that name just on the Google search engine, and then you find other things. So it's just flipping through photos on different sites. Flickr is just one of the many sites I use for my research, but also randomly on Google. And sometimes you go to a site, find the site, there are more pictures. So it's, just digging for pictures. Or sometimes randomly go to pictures, randomly just click on something, and sometimes it is funny. Sometimes if you type it in the wrong way, it actually is spelled in another language in that way, and then you find other pictures. So sometimes I tried it a little bit different, or I changed the words around.
Yeah, one of my issues, I guess I could call it an issue, is some people will put pictures of whatever they call the pyramid, Khafre's pyramid or Khufu's pyramid or whatever its name is. And A, I don't know how to spell the name that I just said. And B, I don't think to look for it under that, because people don't put, hey, I went to see the Great Giza Pyramid. They say, I went to see Khafre's pyramid or Khufu's pyramid or the pyramid of the Boo Ba Ba Ba, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to find. Sometimes you have to indeed exactly type in the word, but sometimes the name is pronounced in another language in another way.
Yeah, like Giza is Gighza or something. I don't know. They I think there's an H they throw somewhere in there.
Yeah. And that's how it's a lot of work, but I actually type in the name and the location, and I switch it around. Then first the name of the structure, then the location, then I type it in different range. First the location, and then the name. That also will pop up other pictures. It's just how you type it in the search engine that will show you different kind of pictures. But it's a lot of work. Just to give you an inkling of how, for this presentation I just did, I think I had almost 4 evenings of work. Actually, from
artists.
From 7 to probably 1 o'clock in the evening, 4 days. I like to do it, so But it's a lot. You have to, yeah, it takes a lot of time. But I don't mind it because, yeah, I like to research it.
It's not always work if it's your hobby.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all got big hobbies at the moment, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
Well, mine's like 7 days a week.
Yeah.
One way or another, one thing or another.
Well, when you are a researcher, you invest a lot of time in your research. Yeah, it's just like that. But I like it.
Angel, I'm just emailing you with a link that Chris Monk sent everybody.
Yeah.
He sent it to me to send out to everybody. I know that he probably sent it to artists anyway, but I've sent it to FPV and I'm sending it to you via email now.
Yeah, thanks.
So I've done it now, Angel. You've got something from Chris Monk.
Thank you.
That's all right. We're all into the helping and the sharing and the being together. So thanks, Chris.
Yeah.
I know that I'm a bit of a party pooper here. We've been about 3 hours now. Do you think we've done enough today?
Oh, yeah.
And artists, I want you to talk for another 3 hours yet. Another presentation now. You were just saying that you were thirsty and you needed to go and get a cup of tea. Go and get a big mug of tea. I'm only joking.
Yeah. Oh, I can give you a mouth half presentation of 3 hours. It's a little bit boring, but 3 hours later.
It's really great to see you, Angel. I was a bit worried that you weren't getting on there. It's always a joy to have you on the Hangouts. And like I say, you two, I'm really hoping this bloke comes on, John, next Sunday. One thing kind of noticed is he doesn't really look a flat earther, but if you don't know, you don't know, do you? But we just want the first Hangout, don't you think we just want his information about the pyramid?
Yeah, just let him do a presentation, yeah.
Yeah, so I've obviously got to sort that out with him in the week, but he says he wants to come on next Sunday, which is just great. We could, yeah, great, another pyramid man.
Yeah, I think his focus is more on pyramid energy, pyramids in general. But either way, you know, knowledge is knowledge.
Yep.
Yeah. And we don't know all of it, do we? You just know more than a lot of people you love. Judith, I don't know if either one of you are there. Patricia, Judith, thank you for being on the panel and listening.
Of course.
If everybody understands, it's 2 o'clock in the morning for Judith. She's a little soldier, you are, Judith.
Yeah, but I'm going soon outside to picture the stars.
She's 24 hours a day, aren't you, Judith?
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Oh, you're there, Patricia.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Just.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy tonight's show, guys?
No.
It's fantastic as usual.
Yes.
Sorry, Judith.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're covered in pyramids, women. Is there lots in Israel, Judith? Do you know pyramids?
No, that I know. No, I don't think so.
Mind you, we don't know that we didn't know that they were here either.
Oh.
Because, you know, Silbury Hill was put down as a chalk mound that was man-made. Yeah, it was man-made and it was a methylific mound. But that's it. It was never a pyramid.
Yeah.
And like I say, that even though it is, if you go to the board, which is in the car park at the bottom of the hill, because you can't go onto the hill and, you know, onto this mound anymore, the pyramid, because the top has collapsed. But originally, park your car there and then just walk to the pyramid. But then these boards. Now, these boards will just tell you a bunch of lies. They have not updated them. And yet they've known probably for about 10, 15 years that it's a pyramid and it's now in the pyramid of the world. And yet they're reporting it as something completely different. And people around here don't know it's a pyramid. Think it's they'll just, if you ask people what's Silbury Hill, oh, that's just a mound of earth, isn't it? Because that's what they've told us. But in reality, it's been checked out. People know it's a pyramid, a white pyramid, and it looks like it's one of the oldest pyramids. I just find it all mind-boggling. But anyway, enough of that. Thank you so much for being on the panel, everybody. And big flat earth hugs. And then we're back tomorrow. We should be with Matt Jerome tomorrow. And you know he likes to talk and explain his work.
Thank you.
Big flat earth hug. Thank you, Judith, Patricia, Artist, Angel, FPV. Who else has been on? Astral. Yeah, that's it, isn't it, today? Anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Big hugs to the chat room, everybody that's watching, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye from us.
Bye-bye.